Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minecraft Monday, week number 11. We are live here, as we always are, from the UMG studio. Myself, Leonard Lando Sanders, joined in part by Taylor Reflections Noble and 9 Whole Grains. Guys, we are 11 weeks deep. We got some new game modes to display. We got some new teams to display as well. How are we feeling, though?
Awesome, man. Week 11, come on. I mean, that is absolutely insane to think about that we're already here at week number 11. But regardless, though, team's been shaken up. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I think it's going to be good. We're adding a new game mode as well that I'm excited for, right? We got Replica coming in. It's going to be interesting to see these teams specifically work together to create an image. But anyways, Nine, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling well. And, you saying teams coming together to create an image, I want to see what the image of this week's Minecraft Monday is going to be. Because last week the image was Slaughter on behalf of Technoblade and Phils at the highest score that we have seen by a fair margin, winning by over 500 points. So I'm eager to see what the teams will be bringing to the table today, because it's going to take a lot to impress me after last week.
100%, right? I mean, that is going to be a very, very tall task, to say the least. Let's go and pop up our game modes, however, coming into what will be, obviously, week number 11. We start things off with some Hunger Games, which you notice for game number 2, it is time for some Replica. Now, if you've been playing Minecraft, mini games over the last few years, if you kind of consider yourself an OG, you most likely have played Replica at some point. We'll kind of be getting more in depth to the game modes and how they work from time to time, but for the most part, Replica, a new addition. We can't wait to see exactly what everyone's going to be coming up with. Game 3 will be some bingo. Game 4 will be Spleef. Game 5, always fun to see Skywars. That's where we saw Technoblade and Phils really take over. They won every single round, and then it's time for some parkour. TNT Run for Game 7, One Shot for Game 8. And as per usual, we've got that Hunger Games sandwich coming in at game number 9. It looks to be pretty interesting when it comes down to our game modes. Let's go and take a look at our participants coming into week 11 who will be diving into all of these games. When we look at this first page here, guys, we look at a few of our rosters right here. Any names in particular kind of sticking off the page?
All right, for me, now I'm just going to go off the grain here. I'm going to say Symphony and Brooke. Now, how are they going to do tonight for Minecraft? I don't know, but I did talk to Brooke a little bit. She said TNT was probably going to be one of her better games out there, but I'm very curious to see Symphony and Brooke as a couple play together on Replica, because when you're working boyfriend and girlfriend, whenever it comes to building things, sometimes, one wants to do something, the other one doesn't. So I'm curious to see how that dynamic is going to work out. Overall, though, High Sky not playing with Ewok this week, playing with Mega. Fortnite duo coming together. Will it correlate to Minecraft? We'll have to find out.
Taking a look right here. Team 6, guys, Technoblade. Really the story of Minecraft Monday here. Will he be able to come up with another victory? Connor getting 5th place last week, teaming with Captain Sparkles. Of course, speaking of which, you can see there with James Charles returning back into the action this time. James Charles has gotten better every week, now teaming with Captain Sparkles. Never know. Maybe a shot at top 5. That's what I want to see from team number 5 there on that list.
Absolutely, and a few other teams to kind of round out this first page. We talk about Jarvis and Kay, the brother duo. We got Vicstar and Mr. Savage, High Sky and Mega. A number of different Fortnite personalities and pros kind of rounding out our first page. And as we talked about, Symphony and Brooke kind of coming from that one as well. More of a Fortnite background for the most part. I know they've been kind of dabbling into some Minecraft as of recent, as you talked about, Taylor. But let's go ahead and take a look at our next page of participants as well. Who will those squads be facing off against? And I feel like, one particular team that we have to mention as of this moment, a team that if you are familiar with Minecraft Monday and really just kind of streaming itself, you are aware of Team 12. We talked about XQC and Moxie. Their run recently in Minecraft Monday has been fantastic. It has been elite. It has been a number of different strings of third-place finishes, so much so that they've got 2 back-to-back. They're looking to try and rise up the standings a little bit here, guys. But along with XQC and Moxie, who else do we got?
Definitely, right? We got Basti as well as Kohler Aqua. If you guys don't know Aqua, he is a beast. I don't know about Minecraft, but at least when it comes to Fortnite, first place in duos with Nyrox over at the World Cup, winning $3 million between the two of them. Phenomenal guy. Playing with Basti tonight. We know Basti, right? He's played in several Minecraft Mondays. He's a solid player. I expect a lot out of him. But Preston and Landon, though, I've actually got my eye out for them. Maybe even my dark horse. I think Preston and Landon could, in fact, go big this week.
I think you took my dark horse here,
I'm sorry.
Taylor. What do I always say? Never underestimate a champion, a former champion. Preston has been a top scorer in this event before. You never can count them out. But you talk about top scoring. Landon, the tail of the tape right here you're
Yeah.
going to see for the entire rest of the event.
Yeah, 100%. And then we can kind of shift our conversation to the idea of this first Hunger Games, how important it is to get off to a fantastic beginning. And, majority of the time, the roster who does start off well, the team who kind of has that early start, it's always going to be crucial for them because it's obviously nice to be good at certain mini games, but it is also incredibly important to be good at Hunger Games. A lot of our modes kind of revolve around that PvP style, right? We talk about even game modes previously, things like kit PvP were always nice, and more specifically, right, we have Skywars, which is straight up PvP. It's also, depending from time to time, somewhat about parkour, but it's going to be fun to kind of watch how the slang works out. We obviously have a lot of new teams coming into this week, even a boyfriend-girlfriend combo.
I love it.
That's the ultimate chemistry that you're going to have right there. So I am curious to see exactly how they will kind of dabble in. A few of our new competitors will start to kind of have their inaugural week start to go with all these different facets to worry about.
And not to mention, too, there's a team that is not here today. And that's going to be Jerome and Bayesian Canadian. Guys, they've been working through the roster. I think, last week they ended up getting second place, finally breaking that dreaded third place. But I think that was their second place in a row.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
want to say, so that's tough. Not going to see them this week. They're actually on vacation together, so a happy ending there.
Isn't that so wholesome?
It is.
Vacation together.
Buddies in real life, buddies in Minecraft, you love to see it.
You do love to see it. And Landon, to a point you were making earlier here, all of these PvP modes, one thing that's, I think, very crucial when we have a smaller roster like we do this week, some people on vacation, is how you have to get the victory bonus. Because suddenly, we've always talked about, it's all about the elims. The extra 30 points at the end don't mean a lot. They do mean a lot now.
Yeah. They definitely do, right? I mean, like I said, when it comes down to it, it's really about the minor details, the very intricacies of the game, the way that it works, and obviously that has defined a lot of our champions. Like we've been kind of talking about, the way that we've been discussing those early games, the way that you work out certain modes and the way that you prepare for certain things. It all comes down to preparation in your history and the way that you can clutch up a lot of those defined champions. Speaking of champions, let's go and take a look at some of our previous winners. For those who maybe this could be your first ever week of watching Minecraft Monday, maybe you're starting to forget a little bit of the lore, the way that things have worked, and if you notice, good old Technoblade, a.k.a. Technopig. He happens to be on that screen a decent amount, so much so that he actually became a 4-time champion last week, right? That was kind of the major storyline because it has been pretty much since the start, Technoblade and whoever else he's playing with, it has been a new teammate every single time. No matter who he's rocking it out with, he always is somewhere in that top 5 conversation. But guys, I mean, looking at all of our previous winners and the number of names that are kind of up here, a decent amount of them happen to repeat.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you look at Techno, obviously. You look at Skeppy. You look at Bad Boy Halo. Those are the 3 people that you see up there consistently. And not to forget, right, Vicstar, too, with Week 4 and Week 9. So every single week we see these guys come back, and they're always a dominant force. You can't count them out regardless their partner.
You can. That's why we always say, never count out a champion. But guys, I think this week, if I may be so bold as to make a prediction, I think we're going to see a new champion. For the 3rd week in a row, I am predicting this is the time that XQC and Moxie will get theirs. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it.
I think it's fair. I mean, this week in particular, so we have some new rosters kind of competing. Obviously, we have to talk about Technoblade now with Connor Eats Pants. How are they going to kind of, work rather in tandem together? And like we said, for those who may be thinking, XQC and Moxie, they sound like a good team, whatever it may be. They placed 3rd in back-to-back weeks. They're a talented team, and the roster that exists just above them is on vacation. It just is a matter of fact. Then also, along with that, you have to bring up Technoblade, Connor, where do they remain? So obviously we've heard Nine's kind of call on this one. Taylor, where are your expectations this week for XQC and Moxie? Do you think a first place is in the realm of conversation?
Absolutely. This week I think is going to be one of their best weeks to potentially get up there on the top of the podium. I mean, they're great at Hunger Games, right? They're always one of a solid duo to compete with some of the best players when it comes to slaying out. In Hunger Games, you look at Bingo, XQC, Moxie, honestly, sometimes are finishing at the top of the top 5, right? I mean, at least they're usually the first ones to complete their Bingo card first. They have good team chemistry. They're one of the solid duos, have been competing week after week. They have a plethora of game modes that they excel at, even Skywars as well, the new addition. So with that being said, this week is probably their week. We got to see how XQC does. We know Moxie is solid, right? XQC a solid support role. If he can step up this week and do even better, maybe even finish in top 10 of the overall individual scores, I think they could, in fact, finish him first.
I think so, too. I really think they have a very solid opportunity to do that. And we talk about, find the button. I mean, that is where you earn the points. The fact that is not in this week, is definitely somewhat telling because what we've seen games go up to like 400, even nearly eclipsing 500
Insanity.
points in just one game alone, which is crazy to think about. But there was one team who dominated that last week, a team that is not in for this week. We talked about Team Rome. We're going to keep calling them out about it because of how solid of a roster Team Rome is. But they found 92 buttons last
92.
week,
Yes.
which is crazy. They're no longer in, and that was the one game mode. We talked about Technoblade and Philza last week. That was the one game mode where they did not have a hand in winning. Every other opportunity, every single time there was a chance to win, whether it was a certain round in TNT Run, a certain round in Spleef, they had their hand in winning everything except for that one game mode. So
True.
that's a mode where Technoblade has obviously kind of fell to them a little bit. That's the same thing where we've seen XQC and Moxie fall a little bit as well. Like I said, I think this is set to be a very competitive week, but I think we have established the two top teams right now, Technoblade and Connor, along with XQC and Moxie. Any other rosters before we throw it to a break who we think could maybe be in that mixture for top three, maybe even some dark horses?
Like we said, Preston and Landon, I think me and Nine are in agreement on that.
Yep.
I'm sorry that I stole that from
No,
you,
that's
but
fine. That's
we're
fine.
going to be a
I'm
team
happy
this week.
Your dark horse is actually a dark horse this time.
Believe it or not, I'm
that's true.
learning week after week. I am learning what a dark horse actually means. And then, of course, Techno, Connor Eats Pants, they got to be up there. That's probably looking like that's going to round out our top three.
Yeah, I think so too. I think kind of looking at a few of the rosters right now, that wouldn't be by any means an odd thing to bring up. I think as well, Aqua. I'm really excited to see how he plays.
That's my Bastion Aqua. Last time I said Bastion Papa Platt, I thought we're going to be a great team. I think
four.
now, Aqua, when you're good at video games, it doesn't take you long to learn.
First
how
place
to
in
make it.
duos at World Cup.
You
Nine.
might say good at video games. We've obviously seen what Basti's capable of,
Yeah.
so I think watch them. I think they're going to be in that spoiler role that we talk about so much. A team that might not be able to take first place, but they can sure make sure that you can't, and you got to watch out for those.
I agree. I'm kind of on that same camp with you. But, guys, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a quick little commercial break as we prep for game number one for some Hunger Games. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back on your browsers in just a moment with some good old HG. welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minecraft Monday, week number 11, as we are live here from the UMG studio. Myself, Landon Lano Sanders, joined in part by Taylor Reflections Noble and 9Ho Grains. Guys, we've been kind of having the continuous conversation of our first match, which is about to start up for those who are questioning, for those who may be asking, but excited to see exactly what Hunger Games is going to, how it's going to play out exactly. What are our kind of initial thoughts behind how important this game mode is? Because this is, like I said, kind of talking about it a little bit previously, this is where you can get off to a hot start. Since you don't have that get-out-of-jail-free card to find the button, that's where a lot of teams kind of rely on. They'll say, hey, we'll play aggressive early in Hunger Games. If not, if worse comes to worse, at least we can start to kind of rely on find the button. The fact that that's no longer here this week kind of emphasizes how important an early start would be in Hunger Games. Thoughts when it comes down to that game mode? Teams we're looking out for and just overall speculation behind it.
Once again, top three, right? You're looking at XQC, Moxie, Techno, Connor Eats Pants, Preston, Landon. You also have, of course, Aqua Basti, who could shake things up a bit too. 9, you were pointing that out. Hunger Games, I think you come out hot and swinging at first. You get your early elims. The reason why I say that is because usually that's when people aren't kitted up as much. So if you come out and you randomly get a sword, not from the middle chest, because the middle chests don't contain weapons. It's just hills, shields, things like that. But
they do contain TNT though.
Oh, you're
and
right.
We have seen that a few times.
Last week,
Jerome, I believe, a couple weeks ago got maybe the quickest elim that we have ever seen in here with that. But to your point, Taylor, not to just totally steal your thunder right there, I think it is very important to have a game plan coming into the very start, whether that's run away as far as you can and try to go from there or go to the center chest. I think being indecisive is what's really going to get you done here in this first map of Hunger Games. And I think that it shows if you're decisive, maybe you don't win, but at least you had a game plan, and I think that's the big part.
Yep,
I think so too. I think kind of having an idea for how the game mode is going to work, kind of having an opening route is going to be crucial, because for those who have gone back, much like I have, much like we all have, gone back and watched the master at PvP, Mr. Technoblade, the blood god himself, it's always like, hey, nope, ignore the middle. Don't even worry about the middle. Don't even think about the middle. Just get out of here, find weapons, and then slay out. So if you're trying to learn, not just from us, but from the master himself, he's calling out, it's time to move out, and it's time to also kind of have a game plan coming into it, as you should for every other PvP game mode out there. And that was kind of the conversation we had with even Skywars last week was, do you try to go for chest? Do you try to even mine the diamonds that happen to be under your setup? Or do you just try and roam around? By game 2, everyone was like, okay, we got to get going. But we have to roam out. We have to be aggressive, which, for certain rosters can be somewhat of a struggle.
Yeah, because there's no guarantee in Skywars you're going to have diamonds on your island anyways, right? I mean, we've seen players, dig down and all of a sudden they only have iron, which is great. Iron is good. But, I mean, we've even seen some islands only have gold, and that's not going to really take you very far. So with that being said, I think rotating out is the best way to go about it. You get your weapons and you go for it. And you mentioned, though, not worrying about middle, and you kind of mentioned Technoblade in that aspect. I think rotating out early is the way to go about it. You get your chest. You also cut off rotations from players. But because you get kitted up so fast, you could slay out. And because you can slay out, you get your choice at loot. Because you have your choice at loot, it allows you to rotate back in middle. And Techno loves his mid game, especially mid and late game, locking down that middle section. Why? Because the enchantment. Everybody is going to enchant.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, and that's why you see the good teams, or at least the teams who are winning that specific round, are always the first to get the enchants, and they don't leave. We said, even in the later rounds, we're like, so will Techno and Philza leave mid?
Right.
Nope. They will chase somebody and then go right back into mid because they understand eventually the circle's going to close in. And unlike some other BRs, it's always closing into the exact same place. The center of the map, where everyone is going to be. So getting set up there is important. And I think it's going to be even more important on our first Hunger Games map. We've gotten to see a little bit of it. Gentlemen, it's not water this time players have to worry about. It's lava.
Yeah, it is lava, right? We talked about this week. We are going to be playing on Demon's map for those who have heard about it. If you can obviously recognize it from the picture there, lava will be the main concern, and I'm actually super excited to see how many players will pop up in that kill feed.
Over-under. What's the over-under? 5.
No,
5 players is my over-under.
Five players.
I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under.
You going under?
I am.
You have faith.
Because there's lava in Fortnite. We have a lot of Fortnite competitors. It doesn't work the same way.
Oh, no.
You're
right. There's a lot of lava in Fortnite.
I was just trying to make an excuse. I was trying to make an excuse.
You bounce on the lava in Fortnite. Could you imagine a player like Heiska's like, oh, man, this lava's here. Yeah, I'm just bounce on it.
We got to look at this really quick. Look at how much lava there is.
You know what? I'm going over.
I think
I'm going over 5. We have seen full teams eliminated
strawberry.
By lava, getting your head stuffed in a block, it doesn't matter.
I'm sticking with my pick, though. I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm
We-
going
we
to
gotta
try to
know.
hold on.
Well, this also adds another element to the PvP sides of it. We always talk about how in some of these wide spread out maps where we see ships that aren't on lava, you can go to water, and if you get knocked off, you might have a chance to escape, or at the very least, if you get knocked off, you land in water. If you get knocked off one of these perilous platforms that you see right here, you're done.
Well, more importantly, look at the choke points. If you're on one of, I mean, let's say, like, for example, just pick any alleyway or any platform you want. If you're on that little section, you have to engage. You can run backwards, sure, but then you can open yourself up to a 3P opportunity. It's going to make fights critical.
Yeah.
Getting knocked off, eggs, for example, right, that, kind of throw you back a little bit. Those are going to be critical. Maybe even snowballs. I don't know if you're going to have snowballs at least in this, but I know for sure eggs, right? So with that being said,
Snowballs and lava.
snowballs, Spleef. You have snow, and then you have the lava right underneath. So.
I think one thing that's going to be interesting, and we talk about those choke points or those kind of high point of views where it's literally just a slab is what you're trying to hold on to. One player that we have seen, and I know we always bring him up, the Blood God, right? Technoblade, he's familiar with trying to stay on these little tight corridors, those choke points when he plays games like
fair.
Skywars, more specifically Bed Wars, right? Whenever we've watched him play, it is all about your management of how you happen to stay on even the tightest of little corridors. He is a specialist at it. But here we go. It is time for our first match in Week 11. We are playing on the Devil's map, and it's about to be a fun one. We talk about middle. Will it be somewhat emphasized? It looks as if by a few of the players that happens to be the target, but instantly, this is when lava starts to become a factor. You have to be incredibly aware of your surroundings, and you also have to be incredibly aware of a few of these little traps that could also be inbound as well. You think you're on a slab. Hey, you may not be. And when we talk about this map as well, a lot of people know of this one because of the sneaky little chests that it has as well. You got to be looking in every single area that you can to make sure you're finding the right stuff.
And chest, so incredibly important. Maybe even timing your route, so whenever the chests do respawn, you can pick up some extra additional loot. I still think slaying out is the best way to go about it, but I am very curious to see how today is going to play out. Now, 9, I'm going to put you in charge of looking at that kill cam to see who has burned up.
Alrighty, I can do that. That will be my job here on this game.
We got to count it.
I'm happy to serve.
I'm going over 5.
Over 5
We
and
haven't
under
seen
5.
anybody drop yet, though.
No, not yet.
We still have a decent amount of players.
Still
to
a lot of game left.
I don't think we've had anybody drop yet.
I think they're all kind of conscious of whenever they roamed around the map, they're like, oh, this is how this is working.
Sure.
Gotcha. All right. But still, and obviously one player we have to discuss, right, from Team 13, Mr. Moxie. He has been ultra consistent for the roster for a majority, as it looks as if XQC, his teammate, was actually casually burning just off in the distance, but already a fight beginning to ensue, and it will be Technoblade striking first. First blood found, and probably only more to come, as Technoblade instantly tries to get out of dodge, maybe aware of the enemy who happened to be on that pirate ship, but still, Ewok, Alex, Rami, the first ones to fall, and of course it involves some good old lava.
Oh, it does, 100%. Now, are we counting that
No,
more over?
no.
We're not?
No.
Oh, well, then I shouldn't have went over.
No, it has to be
I thought that was going to
self-done
count.
act. It has to be a self-done act.
Man, well, I'm going to lose this bet then. The bet on nothing. Still, though, feels bad, man.
Feels bad. But again, you talk about as soon as we said it, right? For the first time, I think, ever, the prediction we make at the start comes to fruition immediately.
It does,
Or
yeah.
we say Techno's going to be the one to watch in those tight platforms. And, of course, that's how it goes. Now, Dolan and Grande actually, I think they're maybe opting to hide here. That looks like some full armor off in the middle. And now Grande actually stuck. Those spider webs are tricky. And as if mobility wasn't hard enough in Minecraft already.
Yeah. I think his teammate actually had rocked an Ender Pearl just to get a little bit higher, but Moxie also keeping up that same level of play, as that's going to be an early elimination onto Mr. Frazier, a.k.a. good old FaZe K. Curious to see what Jarvis may be up to for the time, but you notice top players already in pursuit. It looks as if XQC will manage to back out for the time. Quickly references back, sees that no one is going on for the chase, and that may not be a bad option, right? Technoblade kind of choosing his fights and knowing the worry, I guess, if you will,
Sure.
of what could be the future. But I was going to say, tossing a few snowballs. Those could be a lot more useful this week, as we were talking about, guys.
I actually was looking at the kill cam during all of that, and Symphony did take out a 6D. So pretty pumped up to see that. I mean, because like I mentioned, right,
A60 now teaming with Skeppy, right? So
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, that's a big move on his part, right? A60 and Skeppy, a solid team. But the fact that Skeppy now is going at it alone is going to be tough. But the fact that Symphony comes in, we didn't know his Minecraft abilities playing with Brook. He picks up A6D. That could be an indication. Hey, that could be a serious team to look out for.
Could indeed. And take a look right here. Can you imagine how strong a bow is on this map,
Oh,
too? We're
yeah.
talking about snowballs.
yeah.
Get a knockback bow, get somebody trying to come back in, and that's big. But speaking of bow right here, TBNR Frags, a.k.a. Preston, one of the champions, can come in here and try to identify where to go. Vicstar says, this is my game.
Takes out Symphony and Brook.
Very painful and off screen, but this is a big fight right here because that's Captain Sparkles.
gosh.
Can they knock Preston into the lava?
He can't
Someone's
get out.
down? Yeah.
James Charles stuck in
See
the
ya,
lava.
sister.
Landon was stuck in the lava too.
I was not.
Okay,
Sorry.
You know what?
You
No,
get
that's
one.
good.
You get
That-
one.
that is the one you get for the
right.
rest of the night.
I'll take that.
Okay.
I gotta say, a name like that, he's a savage of a player. So I'm looking for future results that are just only going to get better. But hey, at least Team and our Frags is still alive. Loses Landon, which is terrible, but still moves on.
Look at that. Look at that duck. That duck was chilling in the lava too. Duck is the strongest player here.
Oh, former team. Oh, look at this. Skeppy. And this is a big, big clash of titans right here. We have seen Skeppy slay out himself, and of course we know what Preston's capable of. Both referencing back the lava. You are not going to survive there. Great use of crits and knockback there from Skeppy. So you said a little unfortunate to have your teammate go down early. Well, we've seen Skeppy in this situation before. You can't watch out. I promise, even though I know that that is not a full diamond body, sometimes it seems like it. Skeppy can tank with the best of them.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and obviously he holds a number of different storylines for us for a reason, right? A 3-time champion was kind of brought up in the conversation last week with Bad Boy Halo. Could he become 4-time? And kind of to our surprise, fell to this man right here, Technoblade. And like I said, for that conversation, who would be in the mix? Who wouldn't be in the mix? And in fact, Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy last week had a 6th-place finish, which was Skeppy's lowest he has ever had, which is somewhat crazy to think about. And I think by every person's opinion, the second-best player as of this moment in Minecraft Monday history, just behind Technoblade. I think Technoblade's worst placement he's ever had is actually 5th. So that just kind of goes to show the consistency, not just of one player, but of both of these players. The guys who are the most repeating champions often are in that top 5 at all times. But as we switch back and forth, we talk about it, kind of rosters to look out for. Aqua, Basti, maybe somewhat of a sleeper pick for a few. Actually, we're hanging out in middle for a little while.
And actually, this was not a sleeper pick necessarily for 9, but he did mention like this could be a solid team to watch out for. They were in mid, and I like that strategy. But Techno, as you saw on that right screen, he's already taken it over. Skeppy, though, no one to be found. He lost A6D a little bit earlier, so he's going at it alone. I don't think he had a chest plate, nor did he have any pants. I think the only thing he has is maybe an iron helmet, but with that being said, he should be okay for the time being. A team onto the outside. Nobody home as of yet. We know the compasses are about to come up. Won't be too impactful, but regardless, that means we're getting closer to the zone closing in, which means the teams are starting to dwindle away. And you got to start thinking about that rotation back to mid.
Especially on a map like this where rotations can be cut off so easily. And unlike in Skywars where you can build around a lot of your problems, that's not really something you can do here. You can't build at all. And who came after Skeppy? It is Vicstar, and Skeppy not going to be able to get. I think that was going to land in the lava anyway, but
Hail Mary in the lava.
And that again shows verticality. I don't think had any idea. And we said, you know, Vicstar and Mr. Savage, we were like, yeah, maybe. I believe these guys have done some damage in the past. This, in fact, team even.
Yeah, they actually have played in a few weeks previous, or rather 1 week to be exact, back in week number 7. But they actually finished 9th. I was going to say maybe some BM by accident. Vicstar getting a little bit too high and mighty. Mr. Savage starts to contest him for the best player, as he is known in Fortnite, and says, you know what, maybe I'm the better player in Minecraft. And as soon as he says that, Vic is like, nope, Flint and Steel coming your way, buddy. Going to get some hot feet before this game starts to end, which unfortunately has affected quite a few players already up to this point. Like we discussed, 6 teams remaining, 12 players to be exact. And this is when the zone, this is when the barrier starts to close on in. And that's the reason why we're seeing such a heavy emphasis made toward middle a few fishing poles being brought out, and it is going to be Basti, along with his good old squad mate Aqua, on the hunt, on the aggressive push, and actually is going to be Bad Boy Halo, and I think a few misfires are coming through. I believe someone just fell off into the distance, and look at this! Moxie and XQC are actually on the flank right now, making a big difference. So Aqua takes down Spiffy, but to no avail. It's XQC and Moxie, the only team left intact.
Wow, that is crazy to see. XQC and Moxie, they know that it's their week, and they are going strong now in mid, and we notice the final hunt has begun. Now, I was kind of curious how much of an impact these outer hills were going to be, because a lot of teams were hanging up there, but we see team after team starting to come down low. At least one is going to lock down the enchantment table for the time being, but Moxie wants to go on the attack. Potions are going to go out. He's going in. Can Moxie capitalize here?
This is a big fight, too. All of those enchantments are going to mean that if Moxie does win this fight, certainly going to have the best gear. But these are two fully kitted teams. And now Techno's come in, too. So how about another? Vikkstar has to run away now. Going to reference back is Techno. You see currently the best gear. Aqua gets another one. We talked about that, too. And this is the fight that's going to decide this one, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is massive right now for overall points. Techno v Moxie, two very talented players when it comes into overall points. But Moxie, he's starting to get somewhat overwhelmed despite losing a few of his items in the lava. He is done for, and the new competitor for Minecraft Monday, he's made a wave in terms of Fortnite. That's without question. Still is hanging on and is alive, but he will distance off. At the same time, Technoblade has lost his teammate and may be going some swimming in lava as Mr. Savage will drop him. He and Vikkstar will live to see another day. The Blood God falls in some lava, and now the end fights just got so much more interesting as someone actually just took the high ground. It was Vikkstar.
Up on high ground, knocks one off. Grande falls into the lava. Now you see Mr. Savage, Vic, going on the attack for at least that partner of Grande as they go to close it out. Dolan on the run currently. One more team still remains, and it's going to be a massive players. Aqua finally finished off. And Vikkstar, Mr. Savage, kind of in our opening discussion, but maybe we weren't thinking they were going to be this strong, winning the first Hunger Games. And I'm going to say this. Mr. Savage and Vikkstar, they slayed out consistently. Right there you saw on the screen. Vikkstar finished off Brook and Symphony, and then a couple more victims followed suit. So the fact is, they earned a ton of points. They're going to have a good lead going into round 2.
They will, and what can you say about Aqua coming in as well? This entire fight that we said here, it looked like it was going to go all the way of Techno and Connor, and it was actually Aqua that came in and broke all of this up. You could see right there at the end, jumped in to take down Connor. That left Techno in a 1v4 you saw there on your screen. Not even he's going to be able to pull that one out. So some players we didn't really talk about making the presence felt early on.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Oh, 100%, right? I mean, they kind of took advantage over a few different rosters who were separating themselves. That was kind of the major call. When Connor fell, Technoblade wasn't there. And we saw Aqua fall, his teammate wasn't there. When Grande and Dolan Dark were in the midst of things, they also were somewhat separate. Mr. Savage and Vikkstar, the definition of teamwork, as they will, no questions asked, hold on to that first place position with 140 overall score. Just behind them, though, is somewhat of a pick that, like we discussed, could be in the running as Basti, Aqua, the cheater, which not necessarily accurate, but I'll tell you what, this guy can look like it from time to time. With 90, we got Technoblade and Connor rounding out third, and XQC and Moxie in that fourth place position. By the way, Grande and Dolan Dark, top 5 right now. Great to see. We'll see how long it lasts, but I would love to see those guys get top 5.
I think it all came from survival points.
They could have.
Now, to be fair, though, Grande got second place last week in a TNT run.
That's true.
That is fair. That is fair.
They're on the come up.
But when it comes to Hunger Games, survival points matter.
I'm saying they're in fifth. They're in fifth place. That's all you can say.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay,
and now we
we'll
move into
our
our next one, Landon, which is going to be Replica. And it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. We haven't seen this one yet. I'm kind of curious to know how many points you can acquire for this, because these new game modes were like, you're not going to be able to get that many. But then again, we said that originally about Find the Button. We thought everybody's going to be about even. Then we saw, over time it started to grow and, more and more.
Right.
Now it comes to Replica. I'm curious to see who's going to be up on top.
Yeah, and this is going to come down to memorization skills. It's going to come down to building skills as well. For those who have obviously played Replica previously, you are obviously going to know exactly how this game mode works. Essentially, you're going to have a screen that exists just in front of you of an 8x8 object. And whatever the design happens to be, you have to recreate it on your own 8x8 kind of setup. So every little block has to be the exact same one. Normally, you actually have those blocks in your inventory, which is how we're going to be working for this week as well. So pretty much just recreating the image that exists just in front of you, and we'll have more updates obviously when the game starts to be inbound in terms of how many rounds, points, etc. All those things will be factored in as we get ready to hop into that game. But I know we're still working on matching up things, making sure that everyone is good to go and learning the rules, just as we are as well. But I'm excited for this one. Like we said, kind of coming into Replica, this is new. Maybe a few of these guys, some OGs. We talk about, previously, like guys like Captain Sparkles, guys like Vicstar, people who are, or even Preston, guys who are familiar with the OG days of playing all of these mini games, the snapshots, etc. They are going to be familiar with this one, but I'm curious, the new duos, the guys maybe who come from Fortnite, how they're going to transition to this.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, and the last time we had a full build battle, I believe it was XQC and Moxie who won that. So
it's true.
You were talking about memorization.
Yeah.
How about communication?
Yep.
And there is no team that's going to do that better than those two.
Was it a wedding setting, the second one?
The setting
Well,
was a wedding.
The beach battle was the
first.
first one, and that's the one that they won.
Okay.
And won
Was it?
fairly
Okay.
convincingly, too. So
That's
when
right,
it comes to building and quick fingers, they might have an edge up on the competitors here.
I can't
So
remember if they were the ones with the octopus with the
No, that was
sombrero.
Preston.
Was
Yeah,
that
it was
Preston?
Preston.
Okay.
that was Preston.
That's my favorite one.
I have no idea how in the world he came up with that idea. It had like a
was my
sombrero
favorite by
on.
far.
It was incredible.
I loved it. Anything with a sombrero, I'm a fan of. I think that's cool. When it comes to Replica, though, you're right. Communication is going to be key. This is why I put maybe Brooke and Symphony up there. Maybe I think communication between them is going to be great. Then again, you have Jarvis and Kay, right, from FaZe. They have competed together in the past.
Yep.
Maybe they'll be able to communicate.
But brother chemistry.
That's
we talk
it,
about
right?
it in other esports. We talk about it in other games.
It makes a
Why
difference.
not here in Minecraft? You know what? It works. They've also been doing their own Minecraft series together on their separate channel for themselves. So who knows? Maybe something could be in the works. I was looking at their own home and I was like, how in the world did they pull that off? I just, like I said, it just comes down to gaming. You happen to be very, very talented. So like we've discussed, right? You've got two players. They have to recreate that exact image. We'll have to see exactly how everything will begin to line out. Is it just a simple smiley face off the start?
I like that. Little smiley face. So it looks like we were going to talk about it. 12 rounds. Looks like 60 seconds or 61 seconds, rather, for each round. So already starting off with the smiley face. I like it. Positivity. And Brooke and Symphony are the first ones there, but a team's already completed it.
Yeah, Technoblend and Connor finish it first. We see TB and our Franks landing at second. Vic, Mr. Savage finishing in third, and there we go.
What's a little off?
Wait, I think that their eye is a little bit down, or am I?
I think it's the mouth was a little off. Like they didn't move the mouth to the right.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh no.
Come on! No,
I'm gonna love this.
there we go. 10th place. They just beat out Skeppy at A60.
Who is this? Jarvis?
Oh.
We talked about the brotherly love. What is this?
That is one huge smiley face. That came all the way up to the eyes.
The eye is like droopy. It's like over to the right. What? Oh no!
They didn't get it in time. I think they have a minute time limit as we'll be playing out 12 different rounds of this. So they're going to have some time to work on things. I'm excited to see what they could be up to. But regardless, looking at this next one, this is a Vicstar and Co. already off to a solid start. Symphony, Brooke also.
What is it?
Getting in the
Landon?
work early. It looks like a face.
Yeah, maybe a rabbit or something?
A
Or a rabbit or a cat like looking up at you? Maybe.
I have no
9.
idea.
That is the most creative idea. I've
How
ever
did
heard.
Basti and Aqua already finish it? Like,
See, I'm curious. Like
Wow.
Basti, we know has a ton of experience. I want to know Aqua's experience when it comes to Minecraft.
I mean, everyone's played Minecraft.
Well, everybody's
But-
played, but I mean, he
Right.
slayed out in Hunger Games. He did very well.
It's true.
They obviously complete the picture first.
High Sky and Mega got in there in top 5 as well.
15
That's
seconds
big for
left.
them.
Please.
Look at this.
Please.
I'm enjoying this way too. Okay, they corrected it.
Well, yeah, but no, they don't have the mouth.
They need the white.
What I'm going to
Hey.
assume is the mouth.
There we
that
go.
is.
There we have it.
I-
Ewok and Alex. I think they've finished as well, just kind of enjoying the time with each other and progressing on to the next round. There we go. Third round coming your way. I'm excited. I'm actually very excited
it's
for
a-
this. Oh, look at that.
A camo creeper.
That's cool. This is going to take some detail.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
that's leaves and dirt. And
Leaves,
then
dirt, and grass.
Brown wool. Possibly. No. It's actually hard to tell from the screens that we have. I have to, look very carefully.
Okay, so I expect a lot from Vicstar and Mr. Savage.
Yeah, they've been like consistently top 3.
And so you could tell they're communicating well because Vicstar's on one side, and then on the left is Mr.
What did I tell you
Savage.
guys before we started today?
What'd you say?
I said, hey, the main thing that you want to do is separate quadrants. Give yourself half, give your teammate the other half, and you work on your own.
That's
You
fair.
don't work about doing it together. Did I
That's
not
fair.
say that?
No, you did.
Okay, I'm making
But
sure
I'm
because
just-
last week I mentioned Technoblade was going to win.
It
Everyone was
still
like,
requires-
wait, you said that? And I was like, yes, I
It's-
did say that, just no one was listening.
It still requires good communication, and I do remember
well,
you
it does.
saying
Yeah,
that.
of course it does. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure that was out there.
Ewok and Alex, though, they're running out of time. They have 6 seconds, and if one block is out of, they're not going to finish.
This was by far the most difficult one.
well, I don't
Well,
know.
so
This is only
far
the
we
third.
have.
now we're on the fourth one.
I meant the most difficult one that we've seen. I'm thinking it's only going to get more. Okay,
This one looks a little better.
It's a
right?
bear.
It's going to get more difficult over time, but yeah,
That's a bear.
definitely not. That is a bear.
Oh.
So, oh, look at this. I would love to see the communication going on right now with XQC and Co.
I mean, in theory, this one should just be a turbo build, and then just got a couple of very simple ones to place.
Who finished already?
And yeah, a couple have finished already. Landon,
Preston,
Preston,
everybody's finishing.
Everyone's there.
And of
Always
course,
techno,
Techno with-
always calling hacks.
No.
What? Get. Wait, you didn't have it, brothers?
So what happened was that XQC said, "Wait, the eye is actually one level up," and then I don't
Hey.
think that Moxie believed him. So they redid it again. XQC was like, "See, we clearly don't have it right," and then
This
they
is-
redid it for a third time.
This is what we said beforehand. I was like, Tyler 1 and Greek would be great at this. I would love to
They
watch their
would.
perspective.
Great. You have to be careful on the definition of what great is, but it would be
Entertaining.
great.
Entertaining.
It would be great. It would be.
I
Oh,
feel like
man.
this is something that they could do.
Who are we still waiting on?
I think. I hope everyone got this one.
You like to hope.
Like
Jarvis
Well,
K, we're looking at you.
Some people didn't get the smiley face, so I mean, you would think.
Oh, okay.
What even is that?
Oh, James Charles is prepared. He instantly.
it's an alligator. It's an alligator underwater.
Oh, yeah, I can
need
see
more
that.
time with this.
Some people saying a dinosaur.
Oh, I see that.
I think it's an alligator. I think 9 is
Well, you
right.
know, dinosaurs and alligators are very closely related.
Well, to be fair, aren't they the same?
One's extinct.
Well,
I mean, we could be really careful
hey,
with this.
smarty
but-
all right. Hey,
Ooh, look at that. Technoblade. Hot on the trigger. They got first place.
I think that's the second round that
Brooke,
they've gotten
Symphony
first
8.
place on. I
Yeah,
think
so
eight.
too, yeah. They're improving. I'm liking this.
They are. This is so fun too because we always talk about all the different things. You're missing a tooth.
oh, they
tooth
are
and
missing a
water.
tooth.
Oh, come on.
There's
There's
a
a
tooth.
tooth. No, they need water. There we go.
Nice.
Great work. But we talked so much about
Clutch.
all the different things that you can do and how creative some of these mini games are. This is up there with the most creative, I think, talking about all the wonderful things Minecraft as a platform can do. Look at this. It's adorable.
Okay, it's a blank canvas. I
Very
could make
good.
that. I can make that.
You think so?
Oh, my gosh.
You
Look at Grand Day. Grand Day's just like,
Everyone just marveled at like, okay, we've got to tackle this. So this would be the exact situation where I would say, I got the first 4, you got the bottom 4, and then you just grind it out.
Oh no! This image reminds. What's that one like game you would download on your phone, and you would have to like make the colors all the same, but it would start like that. I forget what it's called, but this is what it reminds me of.
I
But
have
this is
no idea what
chaos.
you're talking about, I'll be honest.
Well, do you guys ever know what I'm talking about?
You could have
Fair-
been a little
fair
more
point.
specific here, but
Landon, do you guys
Stop.
remember that one game where you have to you
Oh,
you
and I
have
stuttered
to-
too. Okay, no, it's cool. No worries. Hey, I
this
got
is-
you, Landon.
that
this
little
is
kid,
rude. Guys,
you-
not
you-
to
you-
interrupt,
you-
not to interrupt. I think that Dolan Dark and Grande are actually in the lead. And as I say that, 3 people finish. You know what? I'm probably done for now, but I think they're going to be close. They're certainly going to finish top 10.
I can't even
Oh.
gauge like who's right and who's wrong. There's
Oh, High Sky and Mega, they didn't get it in time. Neither did Dolan Dark and Co, I don't think. Come on. Come on, FaZe boys. This is what you're used to, building. Come on. Let's do this. Oh, wait. Is this the same thing? Slightly different? Maybe it's slightly different. Yeah, Technoblade, 100% hard mode without question.
it is different, yeah.
Okay, I believe
Because
so as
because
well.
there was 2 like black blocks, I think, like in the top middle that you had to place. A little bit different. But they do have practice with. Someone
Wait.
is going ham on destroying things.
Wait, there is no. Okay, I was really confused by A60 there. Okay, I think we figured it out.
Okay.
This is ASMR right here.
Stop.
Kind of.
Oh no.
Carefully, there you go.
Minecraft,
One by one.
Minecraft ASMR.
XQC and Moxie.
Wow.
Look, they're a consistent team that has played together a lot. I think they have really good chemistry now.
100%. Yeah, they absolutely do.
We said earlier, communication is their strength, and
Oh, one more.
one's
What is it?
the wrong spot. It looks like only 3 seconds. They aren't going to get it.
Oh, that's a shame. Technoblade even hitting a few little bits of the wall. Like, are you serious?
Give me another smiley face. Okay.
That looks like a tree. That
It's
looks like a fall tree. That's actually very well designed. It's like somewhat 3D, if you think about it.
3D.
Like the way that the leaves in the front make it look as if it's covering
There's nothing
the
about
wood.
that is 3D, Landon.
Well, you get the point in
No,
terms of the way that it
That's
looks.
like straight up 2D.
Okay, Taylor, you're thinking very 2D minded.
I need to open my mind.
Like the way that the tree, the foliage lines over, makes it look as if it overlaps. Does it not?
9, you're the deciding factor. What is it?
I decide that Techno and Connor won another round, and that's 3 so far.
How am I
you
wrong
and your
on this?
diplomacy, 9. You and your diplomacy.
Make love,
Get
not
your
war,
hands
my
dirty
friends.
every once in a while.
Make
all right?
love, not war.
What's wrong with this?
The tree is too tall,
Is it?
I think. Or is it just that?
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Just in time. 10 seconds left. High Sky. Mega, please.
Oh, no, there's no way.
Please.
There's no way.
Oh, they're close.
Oh.
Just, yes.
No, it has to be green. I think that's a green block. Oh, no, I'm wrong. See, I guess I wouldn't be good at this game. You know?
We say that every week. We're like, yeah, we could do this, and then we go there. Wait, is that Skeppy?
I was going to say, it looks
That's Skeppy.
it looks very similar. If Skeppy's not first, what are we thinking?
If you're not first, you're last.
I was gonna. Then you
Ricky
have
Bobby.
to win this. In build battle, we saw someone make a giant Technoblade. Now we see one of these for Skeppy, and now we're. Oh no!
Skeppy has to be able to do this one. Oh,
I think we're having some lag
Oh
problems.
No,
no!
he
Can we
can't.
blame this on Skeppy? Can we blame this on Skeppy?
No!
It was too cool. It was too lit, as the kids are saying it nowadays. Skeppy just overpowered the server, which isn't too crazy to think about.
theoretically, actually, yeah. Skeppy,
he does.
Skeppy is the one that broke the game.
honestly. We're blaming Skeppy. And does it have anything to do with Skeppy at all? No, but we're blaming Skeppy. That's the way we're looking at it.
What a fun mode that is, though.
That is cool.
I love it.
like it.
And it's so rapid fire, kind of like Dropper. But here, unlike some of the other modes that we see everyone doing the same thing, we actually get to see everybody as they get closer and closer. And that also feels like a mode where everyone's got a chance. So that does make it fun. And it's always fun to see more build-based minigames.
I'm not going to lie. I'm about to go to the server MC Monday and start playing some Replica.
There you go.
I was going to say build battle.
It's very similar.
Did you see that the cogs
I
turned?
was just saying, like, I imagine like 95 different light bulbs just like flickering, like just waiting to turn on in that situation. Replica. There we
Replica.
Go. There we,
There
have
we
it.
go. Thank you
Yep,
so much.
You can write it
Landon.
down if you'd like.
I did.
Okay.
It still didn't help me.
So that's what you looked at then. That's what you looked at. You just looked down and there it
Oh,
was.
feels bad,
It
man.
does. It does.
Well, I'll tell you what will feel a little bit better. Another fun mode where everyone has a chance. We're going into Bingo Hunt
Oh,
next, I believe.
okay.
It's our next mode, right?
That is.
Yes, that's correct.
That is.
I had to look down as well, but it's true. It is
Yeah,
correct.
Bingo.
Bingo indeed. So we are taking the score that we earned prior to the issue, so we apologize for that. However, we will be moving on. Teams did earn points off of that. And like we discussed, Mr. Savage, Vixar still holding on to that first place spot. 334 overall score just behind them. Basti and Aqua followed up by Technoblade and Connor. And then in fourth place, we've got XQC and Moxie. So, like I said, teams not really changing up all that much, just the score. Very heavily enhanced. So, based off of what we know, there was actually a decent amount of points to earn in that mode. And
Yeah.
for a few of the rosters that weren't completing every single image that was given, you know, that definitely weighs in a decent amount.
It does. I mean, put in perspective, Mr. Savage Vic, who's still in first, they started off after the Hunger Games at 140 points. Now, after, of course, Replica, they're at 334. So
And that was only half of Replica,
it was
too.
9.
So
Yeah, I think 9 out of 12. I think
what
they
was
were
their
on.
first
They were
score?
on the 9th one. They were at 140. Now they're at
140.
334.
So they earned roughly 200 points from 3/4
Roughly,
of
yeah.
Replica.
Little
So
under, yeah.
I think players need to work their replica skills.
That was 194 points.
Isn't that crazy? We always talk, we're like, oh, maybe it's not going to make a
Quick
difference because
math.
everybody's going to be able to do it. But it's like these other mini games that we do add like are tremendous when it comes to getting a lead. Like it does make a difference.
And I kind of like this too over find the button to a certain extent because it's about like speed and like
I
based
agree.
off the courses too. Like if you don't complete one course, you start to fall behind. It's not just a matter of not finding a certain or a specific button, which I think is cool. But at the same time, I think this kind of adds a new element to it.
More skill based too, which I like.
I think to a certain point, yeah. I mean, like I said, finding the buttons is always nice. Let's go and transfer into our other game that we've got going on right now as we were calling. It's time for some bingo hunt, baby. I'm stoked for this one. Like we talked about, got a new card for this week. Things like cocoa beans, like we discussed, I know kind of previously, we got a flower pot, we got a gold chest plate, all kinds of different things to be looking out for. So I'm excited. I will say for me at first look, maybe the brewing stand is the hardest, I'm thinking. Chat, let us know what you think could possibly be the most difficult.
Brewing stand, honestly, cocoa bean might. I mean, you got to find the jungle biome. So, I mean, it really depends on the map itself. But I think we are in fact spawning in the jungle biome, so that
That'd be
would be
nice.
a lot easier.
That'd be beneficial.
Okay.
What? Jarvis cranking 90s.
See,
He's so happy. So happy. The first thing that we get to see in Minecraft Monday
love
is
that.
cranking 90s.
Jarvis.
Gotta love it. All right, well, we said cocoa beans. How about that?
What a
Two
character.
already find and spawn to get out of the blaze area. So you do need the blaze rod for the brewing stand, but it sounds like there is an area for it. Our players will not have to dive down quite as deep as they did before, which is nice. But again, if you are unfamiliar with how we tend to run this, you will be hopping between a lot of different perspectives, and you'll get to hear these players as they go through this.
Jarvis has been on our streams quite a bit, actually. Jarvis won a week of Friday Fortnite. Was it week 1 or week 2? It was week 2.
All right,
So-
maybe
Wait,
the brewing
what?
stand isn't difficult.
This week, Michael Fast.
Wait, hold on.
They're not finding Nemo this week,
We,
boys.
we don't know exactly like where everything is at, but how? How?
All right, is the gold going to be the hardest thing that we
How?
have now? Is the
Could.
chest that maybe that's it?
It could. Brewing. I mean, well,
Wait, I'm still.
the gold chest plate might be tough.
How do they get the brewing stand?
Well, I have to imagine that there's an easy way to get to the blaze because Lake did mention it too. But take a look underground here. Listen to the communication. Gotta love the intensity that these guys bring to the table.
Well,
What?
so he's poisoned already, which is rather unfortunate to be dealing with that. But he doesn't care. You know what? Just thriving, surviving,
Oh,
and moving forward.
so obviously, okay. So is that gold? That looks like I can't tell if that's gold or if that's iron. Okay,
That's
so
gonna
it's
be
iron.
yeah. Because you
Okay.
wouldn't be able to. You need the iron to mine the gold though.
Fair.
Very good.
Did he just
Wait, hearing a potion of slowness?
lava bucket?
We've missed a lot. there's apparently a lot of things to be looking out for that we unfortunately couldn't catch off the rip. I believe there has to be a blaze spawner in the middle, or at least where players are at off the initial.
I thought I heard Moxie saying he was going to lava bucket somebody.
Right. Well, down
Well,
there in the
there you
chat
go.
even said you frickin'. So somebody
You freaking.
somebody angered Moxie and
you freaking.
you know, I was about to say that the typical PvP bingo players, Team Marome, are not here, but may have just poked the wrong bear there if you got Moxie on your tail.
I love that response. You freaking.
And if you do feel like going back to spawn and trying for the blaze rod, feel free.
Okay, so
Okay.
they're pretty much displaying out saying who wants to go for what. Do you want to try to go back for the blaze spawner, which I'd imagine is probably somewhat of a hot commodity. It'd be nice to have like a fast pass for that because I'd imagine there's going to be a decent crowd around that area. So
It's nice to see James Charles back in Minecraft
it
Monday.
is.
Because, you know, he became, him and his sisters kind of became like a staple, you know, week after week. So it's kind of nice to see. And we've seen James Charles literally improve week after week. First week, a little bit rough. It started off rough, but I will say, James, he could slay out.
Okay, I wonder if it's just melting a clay block. Let's find out.
Okay, so they're trying to figure out how
Yeah,
to
it is smoking a
make.
clay block, and then you need 8 of them though. You need
But
8
what a
clay
great
blocks,
teammate to have in
and then
Captain
you put
Sparkles to
a
play
yellow
this, though.
That's fair.
You
That is
couldn't
fair.
ask for many better teammates.
And how
when it
calm
comes
he
to
is
something
too.
like this.
It's just like if I were to make a mistake, it's like, hey,
Okay.
What a
it's
relaxing
it's
voice.
okay.
I mean,
No
it's
big
like
deal.
30,
This is what you need. You need
but
8
it's
of those blocks.
shoot.
He does have a good
Cap's
voice.
He has a lovely voice. He also owns very nice cars.
Okay. What kind of
does.
what's one of the cars that he owns?
I honestly forget. But he owns a very nice vehicle. I'll look it up for you.
You own a nice vehicle.
Well, thank you.
A little Mustang action.
I appreciate that.
I own a truck.
Meanwhile,
love trucks.
Technoblade trying to use the work that someone else has done here to go down.
You all saw it, chat. You all saw what happened there.
I'm going to show you the car really quick, Taylor. This is the vehicle.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
What is that?
You all saw what happened.
This is not meant at all for audio listeners, which is kind of like what we're doing right now, but
He owns that car?
he does. He owns that
Oh,
vehicle.
wait, somebody jumped.
Wait,
somebody jumped down here and died by accident. So
Oh, there's gold though.
yeah, Techno has found a nice little.
Where's iron? I can't actually.
area.
Oh, yeah, need iron
Look at
first.
all this gold that he's got.
But he still needs the iron.
Bingo prodigy that's dying to zombies right now. Actually.
I gotta say, Technoblade is actually hilarious. Like when you go back and watch his streams and just hear his perspective, because we're thinking like, you know, when he's slaying out multiple people, it's like, oh my gosh, he has got to be hyped right now. And what is he saying? Yay! Like, it's just very basic, like hilarious things. Like
love how
Die, die. Blood for the blood god.
He's like Minecraft prodigy dying from zombies right now. What is he?
He's hilarious. You gotta love Technoblade, man. Literally, you just think that like something crazy is going on. It is strictly
Oh, yeah.
relaxed. But here we
Here we
go.
go.
We're automatically shifting over toward good old Symphony and
Brooke.
Brooke. As it looks as if right now Symphony making his way throughout a mine shaft and giving some interesting comms along the way.
I had the pleasure of meeting them in New York about a month or so back, and they are an awesome couple. Brooke, awesome girl. She's, you know, she really tries her heart out whenever it comes to the stream. She's actually been growing a tremendous ton, and I think Symphony is a great partner in that regards. But
You can make wool with 4 strings.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Your string.
Yeah, but only 2.
so this is the communication I wanted to see. I love it because I mean it's typical like boyfriend girlfriend kind of like talking like. Overall, though, I was excited to see them in it because I think they've kind of been hinting they've wanted to play for quite some weeks. So it's good to see them.
That's a yellow flower. You're fucking joking. Okay, I'm going back.
Past the yellow flower.
yep. Past
That's
the
what
yellow-
was said.
Yep.
Just past the yellow flower.
Speaking though,
Whoa.
Basti and Aqua right here at 6 out of 9. I believe that's the highest score that we've seen so far. That's the gold chest plate. That's the blaze rod as well.
Hast du noch, kannst du noch ein? Achso, ja.
So that's huge for them.
Ich brauche mehr Nuggets. Danke. Dann such Redstone und ich gehe nach oben scharf.
Okay, redstone. So they're going for the block. They got the melon. There's the seeds. Whoosh.
7 out of 9.
So
They're rolling right now.
I think they're the only
they
team
have the
that has
brewing
6 out of 9. Yeah, they were the first team to get that too. So
Okay, so-
Ooh, Technoblade and Connor did, I think, what was it, the yellow stained clay they just accomplished? And that was kind of a difficult one for a few people as well. So yeah, they're just looking for the redstone block. And what was the other one? Was that wool? So they're going to be looking for some spiders most likely, if not, obviously, a sheep, which I think that's kind of been the main topic for a lot of people was saying, hey, we just need some string. So this is very doable for them, 100%. Like they don't have, by any means, like a crazy amount of difficult items left, just 2 to be exact, and ones that aren't that strenuous.
no, and Lake says that there's a massive mine shaft under spawn. So this is where they're going to have to end up getting that. And I think we've just been told, yeah, Techno and Connor at 8 out of 9 right now.
Wow.
So they have taken the lead back. Love to see what their card is right now. That's another 8 out of 9. So we have 2 teams at 8 out of 9. And guys, we always say, look at that. Almost instantly, Basti and Aqua complete.
Whoa.
Techno and Connor. Techno immediately typing, bro, because that was right at the same time.
That was like half a second difference. That's actually crazy to think about. Oh, man. And now, as we kind of wait, right, 2 teams done there, the same amount of points, which is going to be great for them. But at the same time, now it's about who can be in that top 5, who can join alongside those other rosters that have already completed their bingo card. Literally 101 milliseconds. I happen to have 101 ping. I love that. That's just the competitiveness of Technoblade as well.
Well, we always say the only things that you can rely on are death, taxes, and Technoblade calling hacks whenever he loses.
Facts.
true.
Facts.
That's true.
100%.
Good-natured, of course.
That's
Good-natured,
one
of
of
course.
many more hack types to come. It's only going to continue to rain in as Mr. Savage, when we left him, was waiting for blazes. When we come back to him, still waiting for blaze rod. So
Yep.
It's going to be a rough time, to say the least, I think. There we go.
Hey.
There we have it.
Still got to get the drop.
Oh, not there. Maybe this one. Yay! There we go.
All right.
Nice, here's got the yellow clay. Okay, I just need to find these
I was
maps
going
now.
to say, did someone take the... Wait. How are people getting in and out?
So you can get in, and then you have to do /spawn to get out. But Lake did make that clear at the very beginning.
Gotcha. See, that would be where I was stuck, and I could not have escaped. And I would have been calling out for Taylor to help me.
I got the room.
Wait, what can I do?
Nice.
I don't know.
Last one.
XQC and Moxie, they completed their bingo card. That's 3 teams now.
Now, Vicstar and Mr. Savage have not completed theirs, as you can see right here. This is a team that really needs to keep up. Because, again, they're in first place, and we always say there's not a ton of extra points to be won in bingo. But there are a bit.
One more goal. No, it's a chest plate. Okay, come on. Smell faster. Okay,
What a great call out there. Smelt faster with several R's on the end of it.
Done, yes. Okay.
Gold chest plate. All right.
My brain.
Spiffy, we're killing the game out here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was perfect timing.
It actually was pretty good timing. Wait, Skippy and A60, they've only got 2 out of 9 items?
I've only one ingot. It's like
Oh.
Somebody, now I will say somebody did die earlier because
That's
Techno was
true,
going
yeah.
down. And I'm wondering if that was who it was.
oh,
And it does look
Could be.
it's over.
Oh,
like Jarvis.
What?
Well, okay.
I'm proud of them. Okay. The brother duo we talked about when it came down to Replica weren't looking the strongest, to say the least, in their first,
No.
like 3 objects. They couldn't complete them, but you put them in actual Minecraft, and that's where they thrive.
Clearly.
Love to see
I
it.
like it. That's where the brother chemistry comes into play, and it
Yep.
all works out.
Yep.
Couldn't make a smiley face, but man, those boys, they can complete a bingo card.
It's true. All right, let's go take a look at our scoreboard right now. We were talking about how important it would be for Mr. Savage and Vicstar to complete their bingo card, as they could be somewhat at bay for a 2nd or 3rd place competitor. Maybe start to change things up a little bit. Regardless of that, though, they still hold on to that 1st place spot just below them. Basti, Aqua, after 3 game modes, are still there and prime in that 2nd place position. However, just below them, Technoblade, the Blood God, leading the way along with Connor Eats Pants. And then rounding out that 4th place position is XQC and Moxie. Like we said, we've seen Hunger Games, we've seen Replica and Bingo. It will be Spleef that's in store for game number 4. Before we get there, we obviously have to hit a quick little commercial break. Do not go anywhere, as we will return.
What if I had my own G Fuel flavor? Introducing Cotton Candy G Fuel. Get it now at gfuel.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minecraft Monday, week number 11. As here we go, it is time for game number 4 of 9. As we are live here from the UMG studio, casting this one from the greater St. Louis area. Myself, Landon Leno Sanders, joined in part by Taylor, Reflections, Noble, 9 Whole Grains. Like we talked about, guys, it's now time for some Spleef. And how do we say the Spleef term?
We say Spleef.
There you go.
It is a fun one to say and a fun one to watch as well. I'm loving this new simulcast that we have here so that we can watch a number of different players at the same time. We've talked about how maybe this doesn't have as many points to offer as it would in some other weeks. But, guys, there is still the victory bonus that we have to consider here. So, again, all that much more important is to see a big pile up there on the left side. But typically, they who strike first strikes worst in this game mode, Taylor.
Oh, snap. Bringing in the Confucius. I like it. I like it. With that being said, you're right, though, right? Taking your time is the way Brooke. She just dropped straight
Brooke,
down.
The selfie limb.
Oh, no. That is tough, to say the least. I know she was in a fight a little bit earlier with Grande, and she ended up deviating off, dropping down to the second level. But unfortunately, that third level's not too forgiving as the second is. But you're right. Whenever it comes to overall points, you can earn quite a few. We talk about survival points, and you could survive a total of 25 people. And that's a lot of points, especially if you and your partner can coordinate and finish up in top 2. And last week we were seeing that quite a bit. So with that being said, yeah, you can earn quite a bit.
Seems to be the case. High Sky looking for an opportunity. Decides to go ahead and greet good old Skeppy at the door. And it looks as if we did lose someone just in the process of that. So Mega will come out alive. We've got Landon. And who is that? TBNR Frags just off in the corner, right? That duo together. Was just making sure that they weren't holding out. But who else other than Technoblade knowing the strategy, watching all the ants begin to scatter, and he's just holding on. He's got a decent amount of snowballs, and he also possesses high ground, which we know can be very, very influential. But Technoblade, keeping in mind that top right corner, actually does have a competitor up top who's throwing a decent amount of snowballs his way.
Not to mention, I think High Sky is actually trying to focus him as well. So you have a couple people, but he's going to go ahead and dip over to the other side, and now he's going to chill once again. But I know there's a lot of decay on that side versus the other side, because the other side was still snow. And as we know, it goes from snow to the kind of dark blue, and then it goes into the clear, and then that's when you know you're probably going to be dropping relatively soon. High Sky, though, getting tagged up, almost dropping off.
I know he can click faster than this. I guess just opting to scatter a few there. And, you know, there is some strategy in the PvP side of this. Do you aim for the blocks or the person? That time aiming for the blocks was correct. And I believe that this is Preston now maybe going for Techno. It does look like it.
Oh,
and Techno
my gosh.
gets it and is going to have a safe trip down. Look at all of this
Those snowballs were high.
that he has to work with. He can make an entire other arsenal right now if he wants to, and I don't think anyone else is even near him to take him down.
Who was that?
Aqua!
I'm loving this. This is getting interesting. This guy, Aqua, we talked about how he was going to come into Minecraft today. We obviously know his Fortnite history, right, winning the Duo World Cup, but he is a solid competitor and has no problem sticking up to the final boss, if you will, for the time. But still, you've got to notice a few players still hanging up top. One of those players actually happens to be Moxie. So I'm curious who actually was the other player.
I couldn't tell.
Was it XQC? I don't think. Well, it's kind of hard to tell. Like we talked about, we haven't seen XQC yet, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't been eliminated or that he hasn't been eliminated. But still, Techno and Aqua hanging out toward the bottom and taking shots whenever they get the chance. Technoblade pretty much only has one excess route to escape. And that could be what Aqua looks to focus on, is already engaging right now with Moxie. Back and forth we go, and Technoblade, no problem whatsoever just to spectate this one, to maybe even play somewhat of a 3P, as he's offering some support and actually does have a hand and taking down one.
Oh, and Aqua just on the edge of that block survives for the time being. And I think the only thing that was stopping Aqua going down was the fact that Techno ran out of snowballs. But look at how aggressive Aqua is getting. He's all up in the face of Techno. In fact, he knocks him down.
Wow.
And Aqua gone. But I respect.
Yeah.
I respect his Moxie. Well, I was going to say Moxie.
My gosh.
I respect the tenacity.
Who is it? Is this Bad Boy? Okay, it is Bad Boy Halo. I thought based off the cape that that's who it may have been, but here we go. In much need of some points, Bad Boy Halo coming out. And actually, Technoblade ends up dropping. I'm not sure if that was Bad Boy Halo who came in with the snowball of death, or if it was actually Technoblade maybe just missing a block. Regardless, that's going to help them out when it comes down to some points. We've talked about Bad Boy Halo and Co. not really in that conversation as of yet, as that will hope to enhance things as we'll go and move into the next round.
All the blocks scattering out, dropping down to the second level. It's going to be a couple of them. First lava is going to be seen. But honestly, I would focus on trying to find your island over in the corner. And one player did just that, and that was Mega. Now, is he content just being over here? He wants to drop down Symphony. He's not able to do so.
Yeah, we talk about how
right in front.
Yeah, you always talk about how good Mega is in the Turtle Wars. How about Turtle Wars and Spleef?
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Taking a look right here. Ewok has dropped down. And, you know, we've talked about the idea of dropping down to the bottom early and getting yourself set up. Is that High Sky? Oh, the betrayal of the former teammates here.
Oh, I'm loving this. They actually have actually eliminated each other despite being on the same team. And Ewok, I think, had someone throw a snowball from above that actually eliminates her. And that is so unfortunate. And what a way to go out.
And it's like you've said, they have eliminated each other when they were on the same team. So being on separate teams, I guess, makes that job all the more enticing.
Skeppy's still up, though. Hanging out for the time being. Don't know where A6D is at currently, but he might still be around.
There's still a decent crowd up here as
I would say, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I think 6.
Yeah, looks to be that way. Mega happens to be one. We talk about the number of different Fortnite players who are in this week, and he's doing everything he can. Vicstar actually says goodnight to FaZe K, earning all of those survival points and even throws a few into the face of Captain Sparkles. But like we said, the bottom fight still just as enticing as the top, as Mega does get taken down, and even in the midst of doing so, actually does eliminate Vicstar. So good call there coming through from Mega. XQC as well, starting to dive on into the fight, throwing out a few and trying to take down good old Spiffy, but still doing all that he can. And we always talk about when it comes down to Moxie and XQC, we know how talented Moxie is, but XQC, if he can kind of be that solid support player, earning the excess points, this is how they can be a contender. Right now, sitting at 4th place, it is important for them to kind of always be consistent as we know them to be.
Good to see Captain Sparkles was still up, too. James Charles actually been pretty silent, I would say. I haven't even noticed James Charles kind of getting into the mix as of recently. And I like the truce between XQC and Techno. Techno's just in his own corner. XQC sees him. Techno sees him. They see each other, but they don't engage. That's kind of like the mutual respect coming out. But player up top, and that is going to be one dropping down, absolutely pelting the ground below his feet. Mega still on the island. Now it's going to slow down quite a bit, and this is where the strategy starts to come through, and players getting very methodical.
Oh, okay. Halo getting knocked down now, so no longer there. We know that Techno is still up as well. And Bad Boy Halo goes down. We will not see a streak or a repeat champion here. Techno gets knocked down as well with just 4 people left. But Connor is up too, and that's going to be big points for that duo in this game. And he's on the island right now too. This is great.
Wait, Techno's still up apparently.
Yeah, Techno's still up. And Connor is still up there as well. So again, this is big. That's going to be lots of points for them. Connor is over there on an island alone. Going to be very difficult to approach. And I believe Aqua's the last one up at the top, too. And I think everyone knows, and they're going to be able to converge on Aqua if they so choose.
Staying at the top is cool, but it also limits your ability to gather snowballs. So when you drop down to the 2nd level, you're not going to be able to pelt the enemies, and Techno goes down in a very...
Second time.
Definitely is. He won't get 2nd place this time, but still a good placing nonetheless. We're down to our final couple of players. I don't think anybody else is left up top, and everybody is going to be in a ground war. But Connor Eat Pants is still up despite Techno going down. They're still sitting pretty with a lot of points potentially. Techno's 2nd place last round. Connor Eat Pants, a potential to come through and get 2nd place. There's only 3 players left.
Like we talked about, I mean, really, when it comes down to Aqua's performance, he has always been there. So Aqua v Mega, normally a Fortnite battle, but now it's time for some good old MC, as it looks as if Mega trying to hop on any blocks that he can see, and unfortunately is taking a few snowballs to the back. Aqua quickly gains a few of those toward himself and begins on the engagement. We know how talented he can be in these aggressive rushes, as both players meet each other at the door but decide to part ways. The blocks are beginning to dissipate, gentlemen, but that is not stopping these two from always firing out these snowballs, just trying to catch the early advantage.
They keep getting more snowballs, immediately
Oh,
throwing all of them, and
no!
of course it's the missed parkour that's going to make that. But that was so wonderful to see. They would find whatever map they could, start throwing all the snowballs, then they both ran out of snowballs at the same time, so they would then have to run over and do the whole situation again. And we always talk about these players who come over from these different games. We've seen FIFA players, we have seen Call of Duty players. When it comes down to the FPS mode like this, if you want to call it FPS, certainly about as close as you can get here,
Fair.
they're good. They've got the skill set.
Definitely do. And now it comes into question, I think, as week after week starts to develop. Do you save your snowballs for maybe the end game? Do you just spam out snowballs like we kind of saw Aqua do towards the end onto Mega? Or do you kind of space them out, knock the block, like, for example, right there, right? Instead of just spamming out as quickly as he could, he was obviously focused on the ground instead of the player on the body. So some strategies to think about overall. But I like the fact that week after week it seems these players become more skilled.
To kind of at least provide my opinion on your question or your kind of statement, I think for me at least, depending on the engagements, I think that you have to utilize your snowballs willingly. I wouldn't just, willy-nilly toss them out for anybody. I think for a guy like Technoblade, I would at least think about it. But I think personally I would rather hold on to them than just toss them out willy-nilly, because if you're not careful, you can start to fall. And the main point that we always bring up is that, hey, eliminations are nice, but at the same time, the biggest factor is that everyone earns the same points. So if you waste all your snowballs and take down somebody, everyone's earning the same amount of points as you. So I think holding on your snowballs kind of toward the end is what I would prefer, based off the fight, based off the engagement, and even the player. It may depend, but regardless, I think that I would most likely kind of wait to utilize those unless I absolutely have to.
I would take my time as well. I think that's the way to go about it.
We've seen, Bad Boy Halo has almost made a living on this mode doing exactly that. And before that, we've seen Jerome do that as well. Players that always seem to get into the top 5 being just a little bit anonymous, hiding up there in the corner and then saving the snowballs for that final engagement. Of course, if you have great accuracy, you can kind of get away with firing a little bit earlier.
I've kind of been thinking about a strategy myself, actually.
One of these days we're just going to have to play this. That's the answer.
So,
well, I need to know what Taylor's strategy is.
So, the LG 502, right? You can just, it has the infinite scroll wheel. I would just keybind my infinite scroll wheel to the shoot the fire button.
Oh
I'd get a ton of snowballs and just get an air blower or let like a compressed can of air and just rev that thing up and just spit snowballs at people. Be like a machine gun.
I'll be honest, not your worst idea.
Thank you very much. See, this is what I strive for, at least to have one subpar idea every stream.
Not a terrible idea.
No, it's not. That is the definition of working smarter, not harder.
That's 100%. Oh, actually, someone fell from the second layer instantly into the lava, as does Skeppy. So from 5, now down to 3 players in total. One of them sitting at the bottom layer. Spiffy, though, still hanging out up top. I believe that's Vicstar, still roaming around. And really just looking for what could be a future landing, right? And maybe just trying to grab as many snowballs as possible. 5 intact. XQC monkeying around. As everyone right now really trying to add toward those snowball totals. We see what Vic has only got 3. 2 right now for Spiffy. So by no means are either of these two sitting comfortable when it comes down to that. And it seems that's what XQC is looking to capitalize on. It's just a matter of how many snowballs you've got in your inventory.
Yeah, he's going to have exactly that right now. Just waiting, finding where he can get as many snowballs as possible. Securing an escape route.
What they know? Wasn't worth it.
Vicstar didn't have to do anything.
Wasn't worth it.
Vicstar wins by doing nothing.
Well, no, he actually tossed out a snowball that I think the last one that he threw connected. We might have to see like a replay or something.
I thought that both of them hit each other, and then that's
toward the top. Because what initialized those two to engage on each other, I think, was the last snowball that Vic threw across the top layer. I'm pretty sure he threw one last snowball. It landed on the player who was just up top. Then they fell onto each other and were so scared that they engaged. I think it was Vic who started that. I could be wrong, but I know he at least threw one last block, and then instantly that player fell. On purpose or not, I don't know. That's crazy, though.
That is a major value snowball.
We're gonna
have
a
value
I
snowball.
guarantee we're gonna have a replay of it.
I hope so.
And if we do, we're gonna get at least to see what happened. Because if Vicstar engaged that whole thing, he's, 200 IQ.
That's the puppet master.
But still, though, that fight was pretty good to finish it off. Came down to a shovel fight. Ooh.
Let's see.
So here we go. Watch this snowball. Oh, wait. Is it this one?
Oh.
No, he jumped down. Did it hit him? Or did
It
he jump
did,
down?
and it knocked him down.
There we go. There
wow.
we go.
Okay, Vicstar, I take it back. You have vision that I could never hope to acquire myself.
And
Yes,
what's crazy,
2020.
that was his last snowball that he had, too. I think that was that was a Hail Mary toss that happened to work out better than he could have ever imagined. And that one will help skyrocket them still to that first place position as they're still holding things down. 540 score for them. We've got Basti and Aqua in second. Technoblade and Connor in third, and XQC actually tied for that third place finish as well, along with Technoblade. So some pretty interesting placements, but our top four really not shifting all that much. And
Not
I
at
think a decent amount of the rosters that we assume would kind of be there are, but one roster that is somewhat surprising, I think we were kind of expecting Aqua and Basti to kind of be that wild card to maybe be thrown in there. We thought they would either do really well or kind of be maybe at least in top 10, but they're surprising us on all different fronts, right? In terms of game one and game two, Aqua engaged instantly onto Technoblade at the end.
Insanely aggressive.
While he fell in the first round, he actually ended up winning out in the second one. So that is just straight up confidence coming in from the Fortnite World Cup duo champion. And like I said, he's familiar with this spot. It's like saying, you know what, this is a bright spotlight that I've got on me, but I have been on the biggest of stages that are possible when it comes down to gaming. So I think he's primed. I think he's ready for this position. And he's taken over just in his first ever tournament.
He's played very well. I will say I am extremely impressed by him, along with Basti, playing out so incredibly well for your first time at least playing in Minecraft Monday. He's proven himself to be a valid competitor. But like you said, Vicstar winning that last Spleef round skyrocketed them straight into Skywars. That's what we're going into tonight. You like that?
I do. And you know what? We've been talking so much about how well Aqua has been playing. Well, this is where you can really see how good you are at Minecraft PvP. This is the quintessential mode right here, and you are walking in to the boss music room right now. Last week we saw over 300 points the Technoblade and Philza were able to put up. So we see, again, this week, how big of a deal that could end up being here. Because, again, first to fourth place is 100 points, guys. That's one round of this. And I love the fact that we have 4 teams this close.
Yeah, I'm excited because, like we said, like a lot of these fights have been from game to game. We talk about Vicstar and Mr. Savage. While they still do hold on to that advantage, it is somewhat wavering. By no means have they been rolling throughout every game mode. They've been consistent. They have been a top competitor. But as we've discussed, there are all these teams that are just around them, slowly moving up the point standings, moving down the point standings. They're getting closer and closer, and we could possibly see a lead change, as you called it, 9, here for some Skywars, as we called it and as you laid out. Dominated last week by Technoblade and Philza. They won every single round possible, and they're looking to carry that one over as well. Another solid roster to be looking out for. Like we said, XQC and Moxie holding up that fourth place position. We'll see if they can start to make somewhat of a noise as well, as they actually did last week.
Mind you, something we didn't talk about.
Oh, Techno already takes down Vic.
Oh my gosh. And
Instantly.
That's huge, right? I mean, Vic, obviously,
here's Basti
up there in first place with Mr. Savage. XQC being dropped as well by Landon. We're talking about our top competitors already being let down.
Wow.
And Techno being hugely aggressive, and we talked about it, right? Staying on your island, mining, or just go ahead and push forward, where Techno, we know, is extremely aggressive, and 4 Ender Pearls to his name, plus bow and arrow. He's going forward. Wall going to be built, but you got to imagine Ender Pearl is going to be coming out.
Oh, yeah. There it is instantaneously. Mr. Savage already feeling the pressure, spots the name just through the walls, and even tosses out a shift just behind that glass. Needs somewhat of a choke point. And it's just a matter of when he wants to reveal his head, and Technoblade just instantaneously there. Actually, I think hit the shot. Mr. Savage tries to utilize a potion, but as we discussed, it is a matter of the engagements. Mr. Savage trying to crank. He's doing everything he can.
Oh, he's cranking.
And he's holding on as well.
Oh, my gosh, he is cranking, boys. He's going max height.
Techno says, you know what? Continue to crank. I'll take the diamonds that are in the center of the map. So
why not?
Why not? Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
There you go. Know when to walk away as well.
All right.
That is know when to sprint or run.
That is the next lyric to that, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Right? Yeah.
You know, I never get that far in the song.
Well, it's like right after.
Yep.
Okay. Instantly turn it off or whatever it may be. Who knows? Could be a song that you utilize to sleep. There are those songs for people.
To be fair, I've got a song that I listen to sleep every night.
What's that?
I forget the name of it.
Wow. Because you probably fall asleep too quick. We know you love your Big Girls Don't Cry songs.
Oh, no, I do not. What? Come on. Who even sings that?
Oh, what a shot!
Savage.
Mr. Savage, okay. Love that. That's a nice little shot from range there.
Very nice. And Lake immediately saying heads up, borders coming in as half of the team's still off to the side. But look at this. Techno with an enchanted diamond sword, 4 ender pearls, already kitted up like we've said. It's just clockwork. Already in the center, already getting the enchantments, going to get the tier 2 loot that's going to be spawning here before too much longer, and everyone's going to have to start rotating in. So here we are. There's the tier 2 loot. Going to have the first crack at all that. Everyone going to have to run. And we'll look at this vantage point. Can he snipe?
And to be fair, no one challenges Techno. Genuinely, like no one ever challenges Techno for that mid control. I think the only team to ever do that before was like XQC and Moxie. Everybody else just stays in their own island. So with that being said, Techno, he can just roam through the islands and it doesn't even matter. Ewok, though,
he got one from that
goes
distance.
down from Techno.
I love that. Literally, as we were kind of looking at that overarching position, Technoblade is obviously, you know, with the bow, and I feel like it was almost like Lion King. It was like, yes, yes, Connor, everything that the light touches is in fact our kingdom, and as far as the arrows go as well, an outreaching arm as Ewok will receive the negatives from it. Connor just trying to act like a proud son, just doing everything possible for the team at this moment as they have full control over middle. We've discussed they've got enchanted pretty much everything, and Technoblade's pimping out his good old buddy, right? Just even handing him every single thing that he gets, tossing out some enchantments and making sure that everything is nice and sparkly.
Mr. Savage may be contesting over here. Oh my gosh, what just happened? Preston in a fight? As well as a couple of others.
Here.
Symphony, Moxie's over here. What? Moxie just took out 3 players.
Moxie swung 3 times and got 3 people. Wow. Opportunity.
You got to take it. If it presents itself, take it. Moxie did just that. Mr. Savage, though, very cautious.
He said, oh, there's a barrier in this game as well? Okay. Time to crank. Time to potion up.
Oh,
Time
no.
to build on over, and that's where
Techno.
the eggs are going to instantly become a thing. Oh, no.
Oh, he made it.
He's hanging on. Okay. He was.
I thought the eggs were going to knock him down. Techno's vicious.
He is.
I talked about challenging him, but how can you? You just got to go for it.
I feel like it has to be Moxie.
Yeah.
Like he has, along with maybe someone else. He needs some support.
We've always talked about Moxie being the player that so often when it comes down to a 1v1 is able to beat Techno, maybe the only person to do it consistently, but man.
They know.
So whose idea was it? You know this was Aqua's idea to build a sky base.
Well, look at this. They have a perfect vantage point to knock down whoever that is just off the distance. Now they're doing it.
And that zone
It's
should mess
Techno.
with them. They're right in the middle.
Oh, it's Techno. This is where things get awkward, and now Connor is trying to get inside of the barrier, and this is somewhat of a gatekeeping opportunity. However, here come the Ender Pearls, and he's making that his vantage point.
Oh.
Good night to Aqua.
My high ground now.
Oh, but Basti ended up getting Connor there too. So now, both just down to 1, and Moxie's there, so all the big teams only with 1 player left. And
James Charles?
Grande!
What?
Okay, well, there you go. James Charles picking up for his fallen comrade, and this is when things start to get interesting. It's somewhat of a heel-off, and look at Techno.
Techno's safe.
He's still at the top.
He's safe.
He's holding on.
He's chilling.
Basti as well, though, I think is just in the bottom layer. And look who's above him. The ultimacy of high ground, and Techno didn't realize who was just above him. Regardless, Moxie can't get it done. 1.64 hearts, and Techno is still hanging on. He's even typing in chat, I am a master, and he calls it perfectly. And my word, Techno still alive. But you look, Basti just below. He's got 20 hearts. Techno does not have that same luxury.
dropped him.
Here come the engagements. Who's going to stay alive? And it will be Basti staying up. Hard advantage. And I think at the end, Techno either wasn't 100% aware or just had no ability to heal back up, as we saw 4 players on 4 different layers. Basti, again, coming out on top, but it did not come without its problems.
Unbelievable. Basti played so incredibly well, knocking the champion off. As we talked about it, Techno last week won all 3 games of Skywars. This week, starting off game 1, second place is very good, and not going to lie, he's slayed out. I mean, you see one just right here on the Mr. Savage as he finished his business from earlier in the game, but good job for Basti. That was probably the most Fortnite-esque game I have seen.
Literally. It came down to a build battle at the very end. Who could build up more vertically? And how in the world did Moxie get that high up? Look at that. We finally see that look. So high up.
But how does he win? How does Technoblade still win that?
I don't know. And he had a decent amount of health there in that fight, too. I
think he realized at the end it was just a matter of time. He tried to compete with Basti. Regardless, though, I think that Techno had like 4 or 5 hearts, and he actually took down Basti, too. Nearly half of his health as well, as I think, at least in my opinion, the most exciting Skywars round that we have seen to date.
Oh, hands down.
As like we talked about, high ground heal-offs. A term that you use in Fortnite, but Minecraft quickly adapting. As here we go, round number 2. Basti, somewhat confident after their last game victory, and he has every right to feel that way. Getting toward the early gates, and those enchantment tables are obviously important.
Yeah, look
it
how
looks
quick
as if Vicstar as well made it through.
They got to middle so quickly there. That's one of the fastest times I've seen. And Symphony, unfortunate, going down early. And then Vicstar saying, we didn't have the best game last time. Let's get on the board here. Let's take out Skeppy. They know that the 2 teams that slayed out in that game were the teams that were right behind them. So that if they want to keep the lead, they're going to have to do the same right now. And poor A60.
Oh, man. James Charles slaying out, though. Fortunately, Grande is going to be there to drop him. So Grande taking out Captain Sparkles, taking down James Charles, doing some damage. But here we go. A60 goes for the engagements. You see Vicstar. He had that bucket of lava, and the Ender Pearl makes it in. Oh, the shot from Mr. Savage.
Gosh!
Low ground. The one arrow manages to connect despite the amazing Ender Pearl play. It only just allows for the inevitable to come a second later.
Are you kidding me? Good read on the Ender Pearl, knowing exactly where it was going to land. They tracked it, put an arrow in him, and finished him. Mr. Savage and Vicstar now reigning supreme. That was a decent team they took out. Now we're seeing some tunnels being built. We literally now are seeing tunneling.
I love this.
We saw high ground. We saw what could have been a hill off. And
Skywars
now we're
is
seeing
the best
tunneling.
game mode. It is the best game mode on Minecraft Monday.
This is great.
I mean, look at
I love this.
the building evolution here. At first, it was just, yeah, we'll build to get over to the center, and then standard PvP. We have tunnels, we have sky bases, we have towers. The Fortnite influence has been a fun one to see, gentlemen.
It's taking over. Definitely is. Jarvis onto Alex. Like to see Jarvis getting into the mix. Someone that's been quiet, though, Techno.
He did get XQC earlier.
He did get XQC, but he hasn't been in this middle section as much as you would think. But all chests have been refilled with that Tier 2 loot. Vicstar's going to have a couple of chests to go ahead and go through, and finally does secure an Ender Pearl, his first one, to put into his inventory. Mr. Savage has kind of been in this area for the entirety of the game.
I just think it's so important for teams to go for that layer early, as unfortunately Brooke somewhat limited in her mobility as Basti and Aqua take advantage of a great opportunity, a great position placed in front of them. But we talked about the factor of Technoblade, how influential he was in the first round of being inside of the center. This time around, he tries to knock at the door, and there are so many different players there that he's somewhat limited. I mean, that was literally one round that it took for teams to instantly know how to move around, how to change up things, as I think it was. And this particular position, Landon and TBNR frags, catching a few stragglers who were trying to make their way inside of middle. One person used an Ender Pearl and now is off to the races. But in comparison, right? Middle from last game here to now, instantly we saw players here, and instantly we are seeing more players begin to build and get toward this high priority area.
Techno took out Mega just a little bit earlier. I think Mega's teammate still remains. Basti with the long shots. There's a head that continues to pop up. Will he be able to connect? I think he did connect a couple, but it's not going to be that much. But that zone is getting close to that island, so that player's going to have to rotate over. And Basti's got a front row seat to that. The zone is taking away at some health, and there it is. Grande is going to go down. Aqua is going to be the one to take him out. Aqua continues to slay. And this week, we could definitely see some different winners in each game. I think Basty's still in the mix. Connor Eat Pants over there as well with Techno, so that's going to be a full team. And there's Basty.
Got some engagements ahead. I think Jarvis actually ends up getting knocked, or no, actually eliminates Aqua, excuse me. What a play that is. Jarvis, we talked about, an incredibly talented player, especially at Fortnite. Now coming into some Minecraft, he's got his brother behind him, and they're taking names. So a huge W off the rip, and Basti pretty much just trying to hold on for his squad mate as Ewok goes flying. We talked about her Ender Pearl plays previous. Looks as if for now, she is in fact going to drop, so a long way down. Silences the inevitable, but there we go. Vicstar, Moxie, they take down that duo of TBNR and Landon, as Kay actually does get a nice little deep fry. So a lot of players following in quick succession.
Over-under, we already talked about it. I know it's a different game, but I know we lost Symphony that way as well. Basti, though, onto Mr. Savage.
This guy's a beast.
Absolutely. He is tearing it up today. He's got something to prove, and he wants to continue to work his way up that leaderboard. And here we are, finally coming down to those final couple of engagements, and Basti onto Moxie. But the lava isn't connecting. Basti is, in fact, on fire. Does have a bucket of water, but
he's out of the zone.
Oh, no! The zone!
And Connor and Techno are in the bottom by themselves right now.
They're in the bottom layer?
They dug deep. But that means someone's still up. The game hasn't ended. Spiffy at the top.
Spiffy.
This is why chat, I am a tactical genius, digging under everything instead of going high into the air. They're chilling in the water. That's how they were able to stay down there so long.
Oh my gosh. This is why Skywars is quickly becoming the best mode in Minecraft Monday.
How do you win this? How do you counter this?
Actually, Dylan Dark as well has our same concern. What happens now? That's a good point. Like, we sit and we wait. Who wants to engage? And I will say, if you're Spiffy, I really wouldn't want to engage. Why? Because the enemy technically holds the player advantage over me.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. If you let them build up to you and they break your block and knock you down, you're going to go down from fall damage instantly. I think you have to get a little bit lower down and then try to take the fight if you do intend to. And what a view that is.
I thought that was lava for a second. I was like, where are they at? It's a slow drop as he's using a sword to break this wood. He just, it's almost like breaking obsidian at this point. That's how long it's taking. But I think he's got one more block. He'll take that loot.
Items.
Yeah.
Look at all this. Apparently stuff he really doesn't need. Actually, he's already got iron everything. It's Techno.
Do we know if /top is legal right now?
Oh.
If it was, Techno would have already used it.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably already has.
I've already tried it. Hasn't worked yet, but
it's a cheat code.
Well, they continue to go up.
Wonder if Techno's pretty much saying, hey, I'm going to go out.
Vicstar says it too.
I'm going to thrive for us.
All right, so the border has been expanded ever so slightly. It's still got to come down, though, and let's see. How does Spiffy go about this? Reasonably well kitted up. Taking a little fall damage is not going to help.
Crank! There it is. Regardless of how we've got there, we are here. So he tosses out his chest plate. This would be the time. If you're Techno, you've got that Ender Pearl. Try to rise to the occasion as you see eating being done. Trying to prepare for what will be the final fight. And the 90s are not stopping. Technoblade, though, is ready. Spiffy's beginning to spot them. And here we go. Now's the time to engage. It actually catches them both off guard, but they haven't fallen off the top. And Spiffy tries to utilize anything he can in the inventory. However, it will not work as Techno and Connor grab the second round.
Basti first, Techno second, and those are the people that we have to be keeping in mind, especially as we get deeper into this tournament. And a couple of good moments from Vicstar too, but mind you though, Vicstar, Mr. Savage, they set in first place going into this game, but they only set in first place by 30, and we know 100 points in total between them and number 5. Basti, though, who was sitting in second, just less than 30 points below that of Mr. Savage of Vicstar, has won the first one and did very well in the second. He might be able to overtake Mr. Savage of Vicstar just from Skywars alone. But then again, XQC Moxie in fourth. Haven't done too well, but we have seen Moxie pick up Couple of kills.
Yeah. Moxie with that big streak in that first game, I think maybe got 5 or 6 elims. That's going to be enough to keep them at least within striking distance right now. But right now, this is the team to talk, and going on to Preston instantly is Basti, not wanting to wait for any plays to be made there. Go get that and then go straight to the middle, guys. This is the strategy I think we've seen over time.
Yeah, it has to be, right? That was the call last time around, and teams are beginning to adapt. I got to say, Basti, for me, is becoming a top 5 player just by the last 2 weeks that we've seen. I mean, he instantly engages. He and Aqua are looking fantastic. I know we've been kind of highlighting Aqua a very solid amount, but Basti generally has been looking flawless. Like, really, like, he has been looking as, like, almost the star player for the team a decent majority of the time. So we'll have to watch how that can continue to be influential. As, like I said, he's just one of the many players to look out for. But XQC and Moxie, also a top-tier roster. They keep losing players. It's XQC already eliminated back-to-back games almost off the rip.
Bad Boy Halo, though, does take out Connor Eats Pants. So Techno is going to have to go at it alone, at least for the remainder of this round. Bad Boy Halo with a nice snipe does come through and is able to take him out. So now you got to be thinking to yourself, is Techno going to be able to clutch up all on his own? Is a player going to potentially reach their demise? Ender Pearl wasn't thrown, and Symphony goes down. Technoblade gets the best of him.
Now Techno's in the middle here, so given how bad everything was at the start, this is not the worst. You can, get set up here, maybe block off some of those ladders so that if someone's coming, at least you know ahead of time and can run away here. And now we do see Spiffy and Bad Boy Halo trying to work their way to the middle. This might even be the side that Techno is on, so this could be big. And Techno got Moxie there too. So talk about that. No teammate, no problem right now for Techno.
He's soaring, dominating every single chance that he's given. But every time we talk about Technoblade and co., we also have to bring up Aqua, Basti. They've been finding just as many eliminations. In terms of that feed, we've been catching a ton of different updates from that one. And in terms of our top 4, right, Vikkstar, Mr. Savage, they were first coming into this. They've yet to win a game and have yet to kind of be in a few of these final conversations. They could slowly start to dwindle, tossing out their Ender Pearls, and they're ready for the engagements. Action happens to be on High Sky and co. As there goes Mega. A sneak attack as High Sky will go back to hiding. And for good refuge, we'll see if he can stay up. But my goodness, that was a super interesting call and a much-needed one at this point for Vic and Mr. Savage.
It is, and Vic almost went down there. Was sitting at 4 HP at the end of that fight, so very imperative that they stay up here and make sure they don't get rushed in on anybody. Meanwhile, Aqua once again getting a pick onto Sparkles. And my, oh my, the heavy hitters are out once again here at the start, and High Sky going to opt to wait.
This is an interpretation of everyone's first Minecraft experience. When it starts to get dark outside, what do? That's your version of a house.
I agree.
You just hang out.
Hey, best way to do it. Build yourself into the side of the mountain. Why not? You stay alive.
You will.
Techno doesn't care about any of that, though. Techno's by himself. No worries. He wants people to engage him. Earlier on, he had some diamonds that he was able to find, so you got to imagine that he's kitted up fairly well. And he loves that high ground. Why? Because he can just pelt people with arrows off in the distance. We've seen him connect several times in the past. Now, I think his biggest competitors, though, at this point, would be Vikkstar and Mr. Savage, who still remain as a team, as a duo. So if they decide to come up and challenge, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Aqua and Basti starting to build their way over, slowly but surely. And look at this. They're building in a way that even if they get hit once or twice, they won't fall off, because that's really the big concern at this point, the fall damage. Techno gets spiffy, so another one right there. Techno has not left that area for the entire game, and elims continue to go his way. Potion of healing. And how about that? A couple Ender Pearls here. Going to give him a chance to go away. An Enchanted Diamond Sword. You called it.
Yep.
Reasonably well kitted up, we'll say.
Oh.
And there is Bad Boy Halo. I believe that was a poison potion that was tossed right there. And yet opting to run away as fast as he can and go to the other side.
What a move.
Oh, my God.
His movement between islands is nasty.
But he did have to give up the high ground, though, and that's going to be a big deal here. Especially, oh, someone just tossed a sword down, meaning there's someone above me. Maybe I'm just going to wait.
Vixar and Mr. Savage in a very bad position. Vixar takes quite a bit of fall damage. Actually, Vixar will go down, so that fall damage ended up being his demise. Mr. Savage down low is... What a move from Aqua! I take it all back. Aqua knows how to play Minecraft. He has proven himself time and time again, and that play was insane.
Now, Techno currently sitting up at high ground here. I think opted to take that sky base away, and now how are they going to opt to approach right now? Of course, we do have the barrier that is closing in. Now, Techno might get the win, but I'm not sure that Techno is going to get credit for any of these elims because I don't think he's hit any of them.
Bad Boy Halo, actually, here comes the engagement. So actually, Technoblade ends up being siphoned down right into the depths, in the jaws of Aqua. And what a win that will be. But here comes Bad Boy Halo, and it will, in fact, be Aqua regardless who wins it out. Two players go for the engagement, but Aqua is all the stronger, dominating in duo competitions from multiple games, as that will be a dub, two of which going to their camp. Basti winning game 1, and Aqua closing out game number 3, as these guys have got to be moving up in the standings. We'll obviously have that at the end of these replays. But guys, look at some of these replays. I mean, some of the moments that we saw in this game were probably some of the best that we have ever seen in Minecraft Monday.
Oh, I agree. Whether it's building up, using that final zone to stay alive, whether it's building down in the, I believe, the second round for Techno, going down underground, a smart strategy we haven't seen utilized. Everybody always wants to build up. We saw a ton of great snipes and some great movement as well, and rightly so. Basti as well as Aqua, they take first by a convincing amount. Now, granted, going into this, Mr. Savage and Vic, they were in first, Basti and Aqua in second, but just by less than 30 points. Now Basti leads by over 100, about 130. They take the lead, winning 2 of those Skywars, gave them a huge jump.
That is, and it's always so good to see when a PvP mode like that does have the point power to completely shift things. We've talked about, find the button, and we saw earlier how many points Replica can get. How about getting rewarded for winning the most dynamic mode that we have? That's what we saw right there.
Yeah, we absolutely did. I got to say, I wouldn't mind at all if we saw maybe Skywars 2, 3, 4, 5 different times for next week. Just the amount of moments that we saw that are going to be memorable for a while. I think it's beginning to make its case. But still, just a very solid performance coming through from Basti and Aqua. I got to say, they're looking pretty poised throughout the rest of this one. Like we talked about, Parkour's coming up next, TNT Run. Those few could maybe stagger them a little bit. We know that they have skill when it comes down to slaying. Parkour, though, just in general, obviously with TNT Run, that obviously becomes a factor. We'll see how well versatile they are when it comes down to that. But then they head into one-shot, which we know they're going to be good at, and then Hunger Games. So I think if they're able to survive these next two while still being somewhat competitive, they have a very good case of possibly becoming champions this week.
I want to point out Aqua, that play that he made to save himself with the Enderpearl was beautiful. I mean, that was some great movement, rivaled that, but probably Techno whenever he was making the movement across one of the islands, and I know he kind of fell down and then threw the Enderpearl up. But we expect that from someone like Techno.
Right.
But from someone like Aqua being a new competitor, that was a brilliant play. Now, heading into Parkour, I'm actually excited about this one. Last week, we saw this very map. No one was able to complete it. Do we think anybody will complete this week over-under? I don't know if that works. But
taking the under if that is the case. This is a scary one. You were talking about survival earlier. Let's talk about something where nobody survived. The point differences really here is who gets to the checkpoints first. And, oh my goodness. Well, we are giving the players every opportunity to do whatever it is we think they can. But again, nobody beat this last week. So, Aqua's been able to do everything else. Maybe this will be the time that Aqua shows us how wrong we were to not believe anybody. But we see Moxie, the first to get to checkpoint 3. Techno right behind him and just barely misses that jump. So again, you can see this is maybe the trickiest one of all, at least until the end one, and you will know it when we get there. But this is one of the trickiest ones to get past because, again, it is such a long path on the way back if you miss that jump.
Looks like Technoblend XQC, some of the early front runners in terms of just overall checkpoints, is like we talked about. This is going to be an interesting one, right? It's about who can be in that first 5. Unfortunately, last week, this is where a lot of teams began the struggle bus, was on these long-term paths. And once you kind of get toward the end of Lunar, aka as we've deemed it, also as a somewhat similarity to Rainbow Road, also just as difficult, but just regularly, when you got to get toward the end, the kind of ending eclipse, the biggest problem is that you have to keep sprinting constantly for a long period of time. And to put it in somewhat of perspective, let's say in terms of percentages, you have to complete 100% of the map. The ending portion, which players were having a massive struggle with, you still had a good 20% left of the map even after your early struggles, and no one was really kind of able to get toward that point. So we're talking about checkpoints, how important those can be. The ending portion is probably the most difficult. It also happens to be the longest area.
I think XQC and Moxie were actually the first to this checkpoint. So you talk about seeing big point totals already. Being the first 2 to this checkpoint is huge. Vicstar comes up, and of course, Techno never far behind. But that's another team we haven't gotten to talk about because the story's all been Aqua and Basti, but this is a great opportunity for them to make up some big points as well. And they both get past checkpoint 6 at the exact same time as well. That's even more points they're going to be able to add on.
Granted, it's top 5 players who complete this do get points. So plenty of potential for Techno, XQC, Moxie, several others to maybe get some points from this. Moxie, XQC, though, from this very point have been struggling, and rightly so. It is incredibly difficult. Moxie, though, looking promising, actually making great headway, and does make it, I believe, to the next checkpoint.
See if they can keep it up.
This is insane. Did Moxie and XQC just go home and practice this the entire time? Neck and neck right now. The only ones past 8, much less 2-9. So we'll see which one of them is able to get to the next part. It looks like Moxie's just barely going to miss it. But again, these two doing great so far on this. Technoblade has passed checkpoint 7 and 8, so he will now catch up there as well. But guys, we knew that they were going to make their charge later. I will readily admit I did not think that it would be this mode that they would be the front runners in.
Well, they haven't been in the past, right? So, I mean, it makes sense to think that.
Oh.
But Techno looks as if he wants to overtake that lead, and he does. Techno will be cruising through this one. Seems relatively easy, obviously, but now we're getting down to this other point. This was the point no one could pass earlier.
Wait, no, this is much easier. You saw Techno slowing down there to try to get the jumps, but he's going to be able to run across this entire way now. So it's just a matter of keeping himself slow enough to make these jumps several degrees easier. Look at this, a hop, skip, and a jump for him so far.
Wow. This is crazy. That was that already was probably the farthest we have seen anybody get. As we'll get to watch him again. Here comes the replay. As we'll see, like you said, he gets pretty far in terms of his progression, but he held on a decent amount. We'll see if he can keep it up again. Is on the path to glory, as there we go. Unfortunately gets silenced, but still he's putting up a very solid fight. No one currently in the conversation as of right now.
Slowing it down quite a bit. He was cruising before.
No, and I think you have to speed it up.
You might, but you saw his movement too. He's not just jumping straight; he's literally strafing left to right on each block.
It's like hopscotch.
Because actually now he does decide to go straight. I thought you had to. Okay, so he does have to go a little bit to the side on these, and yeah, he's just about. No, what?
There's the shake.
He was so close. No one is bombed. They're all stuck on that last piece. I would be so proud of Techno if he completes this.
I would be too. I think we give him 1,000,000 points if he pulls this off. Okay, here we go. We're in competition for it. Can he get it done?
Is there a checkpoint landed, or does he have to go all the way back?
Oh, Techno.
He has to go all the way back. No,
he does.
This is such a long portion.
Oh, and someone's here. Someone's ahead of him. That might be
XQC, I believe.
Could be.
Has caught up, and you have to figure Moxie's not far behind, but that was the closest anyone has come so far.
Oh, look at the camp now.
Yeah, Captain Sparkle's there as well.
Vic, Captain Sparkles, Moxie as well, along with Techno. Quite a few players in this area. Good to see Moxie over here. XQC's not far behind, but we know how difficult that last portion is. But at this point, it does apply the pressure to Techno. He's got to be thinking, all right, Every moment counts. And he is...
See ya, Captain.
You see a vast difference between the two strategies. Techno is just cruising. Captain Sparkle's very methodical, taking his time.
Oh, here he goes. This could be it.
Please.
Is he going to do it?
One.
2 more. Hey! He's done it.
Wait.
There's another layer. Oh, we thought it was over.
No, but at
This is
least he's
it.
on a checkpoint.
He is.
Right, and this is the last
Oh,
part.
man.
This is 12. If he makes it to the next one, that's it.
Wait. Look how far that path is.
Oh, no.
Wait, am I crazy? This is a long path, gentlemen.
But it looks like they're all the same distance.
No, watch one of
it's
the
just
blocks.
a sprint.
What?
It's dark.
What? This is crazy. This is crazy. One man, can he do it? What? There's one block jump. No! Whoever
just-
made this is cruel. You are a cruel person.
XQC
Oh my
is here
gosh.
as well now. I'm pretty sure that this is just the same cadence for each jump right now. And this is it, guys. This is the race. After all that work that Techno did, is XQC going to be the first one to finish?
I did not predict this whatsoever. But you're
Oh.
right. He is very much so in this.
Here he goes.
Now it's all about the Swanton bomb off the edge.
Jump.
He's...
Oh, no. Here he goes. He did it.
He did it!
XQC has done it
one!
for the first time.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
XQC is cracked out of his mind.
And there goes Techno. Oh, he's just
missed it
short.
again.
He's just short. XQC. He's laughing it up in the winner's circle.
Oh, you know he is. You know he is right now.
He's saying slight work.
Is that Moxie in front of him?
That is.
If Moxie and XQC are the first ones to complete, I don't even know what Minecraft Monday
Wait,
is.
Cap Sparkles is here as well.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, if Cap
Aqua came up. Aqua's beating the parkour as well. We didn't even get to see
What?
them on it.
Oh.
No idea where Aqua happened to find himself.
Oh,
Cap
it's not
Sparkles
making
is
it.
going to be incredibly short on that, so another jump. But once you learn how the ending jump works, you kind of have an idea for how to move on in the course. As here comes Technoblade, and primed and ready. Here comes the sprint. Time for the long jump, and here we go. Short again.
He had so much speed though. He must have
does.
just jumped.
You
jumped
have to
too
be
early.
You have to be perfect on the jump in order to reach the water that exists at the end. Cap Sparkles, that
No,
was a little
too
bit
short,
early.
Too short.
Yeah, you can kind of start to realize the pattern for how
Yeah.
it works, but still, my goodness, how intense is this at the end? We've only got 2 spots left, guys.
We do, and all of them score. So this is, again, huge points. The fact that Aqua was able to score is huge. We haven't even seen Vicstar in a while here, and this could be even more dangerous for them. But right now, Techno only going to have so many more chances at this. Wants to secure it right now.
Oh, too short.
Oh, jumped too early again.
He's so close too.
He is. He is right at the edge. He and Cap Sparkles are contesting for it. Here comes
Oh,
Cap.
that looks promising.
Looks good.
Oh my gosh, a pixel off.
As close as you can get. And now someone else has joined them here at the end, and it's
Basti.
Basti. And can
Wow.
you imagine if both Basti and Aqua are able to finish this before Techno? That would be huge.
And this is massive for Techno. We talk about how consistent these other 2 duos have been. He has to score points here. It is incredibly influential for them right now. Is that the one that Cap can get? No, unfortunately, face plants at the outer edge as we are back to the races. 3 players right now contesting for 2 spots as we are back to the races, back to the parkour, and then the sprint. Techno at first, Captain Sparkles just at the rear. Is this the time for Technoblade?
Oh, that looks good.
It looks like a good jump. Oh, falls short. Captain Sparkles is short as well.
Oh, are you kidding me?
They both can't land this. Basti, though, I think is still around the camp, still around the area.
This is unreal how close these guys are. That was another miss. And now, once again, how did XQC get this on his first shot?
XQC's an animal.
Oh, that looked good for Cap.
That looks really good. Oh, who?
Captain
Yes.
Sparkles did get it, and Basti just misses it as well. So now it's Techno and Basti
And Techno was the first one here, mind you.
Yeah.
by a long shot.
And then XQC just swoops in and takes it all.
Basti. Here we go. This could possibly be it.
Where did Preston come from?
What?
Where was Preston at this entire time?
Where did he come from? Of course, Basti made it in at the end. It doesn't count, but still, he just made it in.
This was that. Okay.
Are you serious?
Parkour traditionally has not been fun to watch.
Yeah.
This was great.
This was awesome.
This was great.
Wow.
XQC, are you kidding me?
Oh, wow. We got to watch this again, though. Like, whenever we were watching Technoblade do this, it was like, okay, he's right at the edge. Can he keep it up? And he does. He makes it through, and we're like, oh, there was another course. And then we get toward the end, and it comes down to this massive leap of faith that you got to try and make. And like we discussed, guys, Technoblade here for a long time. XQC one time, it's all we needed. I don't know how he managed to catch that, even without a big sprint, as that will catapult them into second place. However, the men who sit at the forefront happens to be Basti and Aqua, still locking things down. Like we said, XQC and Moxie heading up second, Technoblade and Connor in that third place. And from first now to fourth, Mr. Savage and Vikstars. We've got a very competitive last few games still to come. Like we talked about, guys, some interesting moments up to this point. I literally cannot wait to see how these last few games start to line out.
Put it in perspective, just from that last one, XQC and Moxie went from 5th place, 522 points, up to first at 1,002, just behind that of Basti and Aqua at 1,231. They have a nice lead.
Yeah.
But the fact is, XQC, Moxie, we talked about it. This might be their week. They're in second. They're within striking distance.
They are, and they have maybe their best mode that's going to be coming up soon in terms of one shot. That is a massive bonus if you do get that win. Last week, one single elim away. They were just one behind Techno and Filza as they went there. So again, they're going to be able to have a lot of points there. You cannot rest easy. But we're going to be moving on to TNT Run right now. And if there's any time for Techno to make up some of the gap, it's going to be this game right here.
All right. Fair enough. But now we head into TNT Run. TNT, obviously Techno. He dominates whenever it comes to TNT Run. You got to be thinking, though, right now, XQC and Moxie, traditionally, they haven't done too well when it comes to TNT Run. They're always in the middle of the mix. If they can capitalize in this very moment, they can close that gap. They were down 200 points. That's a lot. So if they don't start capitalizing in these moments, specifically in TNT Run, they might not be able to overtake first. Now, when it does come to at least our 9th game of one shot, traditionally, XQC and Moxie do very well in that game mode, and I think that's where they can kind of, take away. But a lot still up in the air. And I'm going to stick to it. XQC and Moxie, I'm still going to stick. They're going to get first place this week.
Okay. I respect that. Like I said, they're obviously one of the many teams that are in competition right now, so we'll have to see whether or not that can be a trend for them. But here we go. It's time for Game 7. Some TNT Run. Same course as the last few weeks. And I actually noticed when I went back and watched Technoblade's VOD, when he was playing last week with Filza, he instantly said, get out of the first layer, instantly go down to the second one. So that's what he has brought up as kind of the main strategy. We'll see if that continues to be a trend for him. But like we've kind of discussed, even with Spleef, right? Maybe trying to get out of the early lineage would be ideal. But TNT Run, like we said, the course only gets bigger as it goes on. As many players already experiencing that third layer, experiencing what could be their final jaunt. As there we go, Technoblade, just one of the early players, happens to be on that third layer. Moxie actually tries to cut him off and successfully does a little bit of that. However, Techno's still running along.
Very scary here, and we see XQC on the side. This is going to be a hard jump. He's got to think of spots to land right now, and you see immediately transferring there to the bottom, very wisely doing so. But again, this is just getting scarier and scarier. The reason why it's nice to be able to drop down here is because by the time that you come off those top layers, there's nowhere for you to land. And look at that. We're already down to our final 9 players.
That's insane. The fact that we're already down here. But it's encouraging to see XQC as one of those players in the top 9. But if Moxie could be in that running too, this is their opportunity to come through. Mr. Savage still up there. Obviously with Vikkstar, Techno. I mean, would you expect anything else?
No, and I believe Preston's there as well, the player that we completely neglected to mention, the original parkour legend here. And we see now just down to 4 XQC still here and has a lot of real estate to work with. He's going to be able to survive a while. It's going to be a matter of if anyone else can do so. These are going to be some tricky jumps for Techno to get out of here.
Oh.
Nope.
Can't do it. And there we have it. XQC still hanging on.
Is it
1 of
Preston?
2. It very well could be, and yes, it is. Teaming off for ranks. He's going to have
done.
to make a very big jump and actually holds on just enough. And that is what it's all about, utilizing your real estate, as that will be round 1 in the books for good old TBNR, but you got to give some props there at the end from XQC. Everybody utilizing those jump strategies. And, you know, we've seen a number of different players kind of be in Minecraft Monday and still consistently place where they are. They're competitors, but, you know, they kind of just do the same thing. They kind of move forward. The one thing that I love about XQC and Moxie is their ability to learn from better players, right? Yeah. They've gone from consistent fourths to consistent third places. They're eyeing out second. And the way that they know to do that is to learn by some of the best players out there, learn from guys like Technoblade, learn from guys like TBNR Frags as well, and you got to give them some props for doing that because they're starting to rise to the occasion. While he does drop there, it still is close. And the fact that they're competing with some of the top teams in the world after only being in Minecraft Monday for what's like 5 weeks now,
yeah,
you just got to give them all the props for putting in the work.
And we talk about it quite often, the dichotomy between the two, XQC and Moxie. XQC wants to improve week after week, like you were mentioning, and they continue to do so. But he does that because he doesn't want to let Moxie down. And I think when you have a partner like that who continually wants to improve so he can keep up with whoever he's playing with, allows for just a much better duo-ship. And for me, that's why they continue to improve week after week, and it's good to see. And you see it in every game mode, whether it's Skywars, clearly. I mean, whenever it came to Parkour, and even in TNT Run, XQC is playing very well, getting second place just behind that of Preston. And really, honestly, he could have got first if he would have had more blocks, simply put, because Preston, we knew, was only 2 blocks away from falling down to his doom. If we see XQC make a repeat of that, clearly you could see him, obviously, making an effort and a stride to get better and better every single week.
Yeah, and you got to love that, and that is one of the things that's nice about having a team that stays together for so long, as you were saying there. But down to just 4, now down to 3. Surprise, surprise, Techno is in that conversation. Then it's Vikkstar and XQC again, so XQC is going to take the drop. It's going to be Vikkstar versus Techno. This is a tricky jump, and Vikkstar makes it. Who's going to get to this big patch of real estate first? That is going to be the question. It looks like they're going to get there at the same time. Oh, my goodness. Who's going to pull the first move?
Oh, looks like both are actually trying to go. Oh, no, are you kidding me? Vic just barely falls before Techno. They fall at the same exact time, and Techno takes the victory in round number 2.
That is a massive win, literally a buzzer beater type moment, as you will not see a closer TNT run than that one. One block made all the difference, and that will be the advantage now over toward Technoblade. As we talked about, Mr. Savage and Vikkstar, they need to earn some points. They need to kind of get back in that conversation from first, now kind of down to that edge of 4th, 5th place right now. It is crucial that he managed to stay alive for that long, did Vikkstar, but they need to keep that going forward as we head into our 3rd and final round.
And you know something else, we haven't talked a ton about Aqua and Basti either. They have not been, we know, certainly not in the top 5. Now, if they both got top 10, then that kind of mitigates that, but again, they don't want to let any of that lead start to drip.
And you can't have that, right? You're up 200 points. Very much so. If they go into Hunger Games with that kind of a lead, I mean, you got to be thinking there's no way you could stop them. But these 2 games, not only TNT Run, but also One Shot could, in fact, make a huge difference. Aqua on your screen, doing everything in his power to stay up, to stay alive. A total of 18 players remain, so still plenty of points to get. And we have, looks like a power-up in the hands of Vikkstar. Now it's a matter of whenever he wants to use it.
Oh, and Techno got him again. What a jerk.
Literally. Oh, wait, he actually threw out.
Oh, he did.
So he got it on the way
grenade,
down?
the explosive. So, yeah, he actually threw it as he was falling. So a huge play coming in from him. And Aqua always impressing us, knowing the jump strategy as well. You were curious about his skill coming into today, and it seems to be very, very prime. I think that's him versus Technoblade, and there we have it. Aqua falls. Technoblade back-to-back to close out our 7th game.
Still not bad. Techno wins 2, but Aqua, 2nd place. XQC, obviously doing very well, finishing just behind Preston in the 1st round. But overall, got to say, scoreline shouldn't change too much, but the only question is, was XQC and Moxie, was their performance good enough to kind of close that 200-point gap between not only them but also Basti and Aqua as we head into One Shot?
That will be the question. We get this last replay. Technoblade getting the win there, cutting Vikkstar off 2 games in a row. But if you take a look at this, that lead actually ballooned a little bit. So we talk so much about how both sides have to be able to contribute. We said that we didn't think it was going to be really a good performance for them at all because we didn't see any of them in the top 5. But if both of them get into the top 10, looks like that was the case. 1,331 with 2 games left.
Yeah. Definitely. It's going to be interesting to kind of put it in perspective quickly. Basti, Aqua, they earned 100 points. XQC and Moxie, 109. Technoblade and Connor earned 114 points. So definitely in the midst as we are done with 7 games as we'll head to one shot right after this quick commercial break.
It seems like I am quite quenched for thirst. Time for sponsor! G Fuel sponsor! You may have seen me sip on these bad boys for quite a while. And you may be wondering, what is he actually drinking there? Is that part of some conspiracy? No, it's not, okay? This is genuinely great sponsor. G Fuel, everybody. There's so many delicious flavors. Wow, epic. Golden apple pear, beautiful. Rainbow sherbet, kiwi strawberry. Try it out. See if you like it.
Everything is new in love, stronger than the both of us. Together we can spark a flame and freeze the world to numb the pain. I just wanna feel what I feel when it's just you and me. I'm falling on my knees just to see if I can still bleed. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman. Hope it's not a grand delusion. So keep me in this state of mind. Tell me that it's real life. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minecraft Monday, week number 11. We are diving into our last few game modes of the day. One shot, to be exact, is the one that we have going on right now. On the mic, though, it's Lennon Lano Sanders joined alongside by Taylor Reflections Noble and 9 Whole Grains. As like we said, we're diving into some one-shot, guys. A lot of points to be earned. And with how close the conversation is right now for top 3, top 4, top 5, earning as many points as you can is going to be nice heading into what will be our final game of Hunger Games.
XQC and Moxie last week, and one in the chamber were able to secure second, just behind that of Filza, his partner. With a score of 39, you're trying to get 40 total points here. So you got to be thinking they're going to be up into the mix. Meanwhile, though, looking at Captain Sparkles as well as James Charles, currently sitting at a total of 5 elims between the two, but does get a nice hit onto XQC, focusing the attention now onto another, uses a good jump, but just misses a second, and you see his face. Disappointment.
There it is. Try and try again. We'll go and take a look now at TBNR Frags, a.k.a. Preston's perspective. And I got to say, if there was ever a person to look out for, it would be this guy, right? I remember watching his gameplay from PC Black Ops 2. He is an unbelievable talent, an absolute beast. He and Landon together, I think, would make for a duo to watch continually over and over again as they've existed and made content for years, even in Minecraft. So always a roster to have in mind, but one of the many teams who's just trying to make as much of an impact as they can.
Nice.
As what a shot on to Mr. Savage.
That is huge, man. Mr. Savage head is spinning just like ours. And that's the plays we expect from Preston, right? You got to be thinking he's a solid player, someone you have to look out for. A little bit of a interesting situation, but able to get one. And you hear him, I need to stop panicking, something that I always tell myself.
Goodness.
Well,
Techno is at 14 kills himself right now. Preston's team was at 9. So we've always seen exactly what Techno is capable of doing, and he knows that he needs to come up big if he wants his team to have any chance here at 22. That's the highest that we've seen, but take a look. The counter in the bottom left, Moxie going blow for blow with them, and these are really the two teams that I think a lot of people know are scary, but you see Basti opening up some big ones as well, and this is just so hard to keep up with, guys. That's what it all boils down to.
Honestly, it definitely is, but 25, you could imagine, is impressive. Now the men that I wanted to look at, this is Moxie along with XQC, sitting in a total of 30, so leading the way as to be expected, or at least you could think they're leading, in a nice shot to bring it to 31.
And just spotting player after player, the one thing that I noticed the most when it comes down to some of our top competitors, just now only 9 kills away, is this duo of XQC and Moxie, is that they're always having some basis of a cover, always somewhat on the flank of the enemy. And that's one thing that a lot of rosters, a lot of teams have yet to accomplish. I will say, known for flanking, he also is pretty decent when it comes down to face-to-face matchups. Moxie, unreal talent. Who can get to that 41st? They have to be a team that is in that conversation and maybe on the cusp of doing it before anybody else has the opportunity. Symphony, Dolan Dark, everybody in the mix and going high range. Can he hit the shot? And unfortunately drops, but he did actually fire out an arrow that did not take down Mr. Savage. A good opportunity, but cannot hit there. Oh, they're 3 away?
3 away? Are you?
Oh,
2 away. I got another one. Oh my gosh.
One more.
Just got a 3-piece.
There it is.
No, he is this. No.
The easiest shot. The easiest shot. He misses.
No, he got it.
Oh, he did.
They traded.
Oh.
They traded.
Wow. Wow. And there have got to be a few teams that were at 39 right there.
Oh, yeah. You have to imagine.
Just wait. Technoblade, if he types in hacks in chat, we know they were, in fact, at 39. But still, incredible plays in Preston. The human highlight reel. I know I was kind of giving him some props just because of his previous history and obviously PC titles, PC shooters to be exact, but right on cue. Awesome to see Moxie as well. Some insane stuff, but at the end, when they really needed it the most, to trade regardless, it got the job done.
Preston and his teammate Landon were sitting at 830 points going into this. Now, granted, 600 points away from first of Basti and Aqua, but plenty of opportunity for them to make an impact, specifically going into our last game of Hunger Games. And you look at the score, Basti and Aqua, I thought XQC and Moxie were totally doing well, but clearly Basti and Aqua still with a massive lead going into game number 9 of Hunger Games. And Basti and Aqua clearly might be able to win this entire thing.
I think so. It's going to take...
That's 285 points.
Some simple math here. I think that XQC and Moxie will have to get 99% of the elims and an outright win, and then need some real help from Basti and Aqua. But it seems like every time we're talking about these other top players that are slaying out and making the big plays. Meanwhile, Basti and Aqua are like, we're both top 10, we're both top 8, we're both top 5.
Yeah.
We may not always have the highlight reels, but we're scoring the points, and that's what matters.
Yeah, it really is. And over multiple game modes, they have been fiends. They've been struggles. Teams that they have kind of dealt with have had pretty much a headache trying to work out and try to do everything that they can. These guys, as you mentioned, have been consistent, a very consistent roster kind of throughout each game mode that we have visited. We questioned, could they be good at this? Could they be good at that? They have been. They know all the strategies. They were jumping in TNT Run. They knew exactly how to play when it came down to the very next round, when it came down to Skywars. Those boys, I tell you what, they're a contender, and they sit, what did I mention? It was 285 points above second. As here we go, our final game. Will we crown new champions, or can we see XQC and Moxie enter in toward that first place conversation. They've already eclipsed what has been their best placement as per yet, right? Back-to-back third place finishes. They want to try and at least hold on to second. First would be great. And then Technoblade, can he go back-to-back again? Can he grab his 5th Minecraft Monday title, just distancing himself a little bit farther? It all comes down to this.
XQC already starts off with an iron sword. If I'm him, I'm slaying out. You cannot afford to sit back, relax, and get kitted up like you would traditionally do, at least in the first game or the first Hunger Games. You've got to go out and slay out, and hopefully they run into right away, at least best case scenario, they run into Basti, they run into Aqua, they slay them out. Now at that point, it's all about slaying out the rest of the competition. You have to worry about Techno from there, but with that being said, yeah, you're right. We're potentially going to see a new victor today, and I'm curious to see the individual scores at the end of all this because I want to see where Aqua lies.
Yeah.
Because Aqua might be in the running to maybe even pass up Basti potentially in overall score. I don't know. We'll definitely have to see. But regardless, players are dropping. Moxie does pick up 1. Techno picks up Ewok. So at least right now, second and third place are starting to find some elims.
And look at this. It looks like Aqua and Basti, if they're coming out here just to look for stuff, that may be one thing, but they might opt to just be hiding, guys. They might opt to just wait out here. Let the opponent get some, but let them fight it out too. Let's win this one sitting down and watching from a perch. Wouldn't that be an epic way for it? But speaking of epic, XQC and Moxie, the hunt already starts. We did see Techno get one earlier. A6D gets one there, but they're going to need every single one of these. They cannot wait for the opponent to make a move.
Yeah, they have to keep on the hunt. And as you called it, Taylor, get those swords, get those items, and utilize them instantly, which seems to be the case. The roster that sits in second place, they do not want to keep, making their way up the ladder slowly, having third place, second place. No, we want to instantly vacate ourselves, push ourselves into title contention, put ourselves in gold. That would be the idea. And look at this. James Charles and Vicstar, previous teammates, now fighting it out against each other. And James Charles is on the hunt, fighting back as Vicstar has the wooden sword, but there you go. James.
Okay.
He's slaying out.
Absolutely.
A tear coming to my eye right here. Look at the character development.
James has been playing so incredibly well today.
Those two have teamed before, too. That's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
But look at that. Basti is in the middle. They rotated over. They rotated back to the middle, and now XQC has to run away. This is potentially their tournament run on the line. And I think
one of the heads, though.
Yeah, I think Moxie's behind him, too. So this is the chase, gentlemen. This could be the entire tournament right here.
Absolutely. XQC Moxie have to win this. No questions asked. If they don't, they are going to be out. Moxie already eliminated by Aqua. XQC still remaining. He was very weak. No food in the inventory. Not going to be able to replenish those hearts. And you definitely have to be worried. And I don't think he has a helmet either. And if he does, yeah, he does have a low tier one. So regardless, with that being said, XQC in a lot of trouble. And you know Aqua, he's not going to back off. That's going to be one hit immediately into another team with some arrows. So this actually could be a blessing in disguise for XQC, but regardless.
Never mind.
Yeah, they're going to continue to go. I think they realize that, hey, we take second place out now, there's no way we lose this.
Actually, Connor Eats Pants and Technoblade. So they realize this is the prime target. The roster that we want to try to face off against is the one that we also have to be sparing against as well. And as we discussed, I was kind of pointing out, right, 285 points down were XQC and Moxie coming into this. 299 points down was Technoblade and Connor Eats Pants. So not as far away, or not maybe as far away as we'd like to think that they were from second. They absolutely have the ability to capture second place, but it has to be them taking down this dynamic duo that sits in the middle. They still were consistent off the start. They've already got eliminations. If you're Technoblade and Connor Eats Pants, you know what, XQC, that's nice. He's no longer a worry by not having a teammate, by not kind of being in that central location. It is about first, get Aqua, get Basti off of their podium. We'll see if they can match that, though, because they've got a lot of points still to make up.
They do, and it looks like Techno is fighting Aqua, so here's the fight you were talking about.
Whoa.
A diamond sword. The diamond sword is going to chow right through them, and that's an enchanted diamond sword as well.
Oh, my God.
And that's why you get the enchantments, everybody. That is what it looks like. So they heard you. They knew they had to make the fight. But my goodness, I believe the victory lap is starting for Aqua and Basti.
Oh, absolutely. Aqua's an animal. He just single-handedly took out Techno as well as Connor. Unbelievable.
I mean, he did
Aqua-
have help, but still, like,
Well,
he
but-
does. He has the majority of those fights.
I'm telling you, this man
It's
is
crazy.
insane.
It
Going
is.
into this. Now, Aqua, I think he does have previous experience with Minecraft, but overall, like, I didn't expect him to be this good. XQC, though, still in the running, but
There you go.
unfortunately, when you're pinned against a corner, you're weak. 2 members are coming at you with axes. Not a lot you can do. That's second place out. I believe that's also third place out.
Yep.
And Aqua, Basti still up. Mr. Savage of Vicstar still in it, but they were in fourth place, and they were trailing behind by. Shoot, let me go back
Yeah,
all the way over.
go-
They weren't
go.
even in fourth. I was looking at the wrong one.
Mr. Savage and Vicstar, they were in fourth place.
Okay.
They had 957 overall score, I believe.
Oh, Mr.
so-
Savage and Vic?
Yes.
Actually, going into this, they were in fifth. They were at 1,159 points. They were down nearly 400.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My apologies. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
You're
looking at a
correct.
previous one as well.
Things
So
change so fast.
don't they though?
Oh.
Oh no.
Let's go, Jarvis. Make this one a good fight here. A 1v2. But that is going to be an enchanted bow as well that Aqua has. So why not? And you know what the real insult to injury here is? I'm pretty sure that was Moxie's sword, too.
Yeah.
Moxie, as they tried to fight and engage there, made it even more difficult to
Oh.
fight against them. And wow, great work there.
Heads
by
up play
Team
from
R4.
Preston.
Yeah, shooting them down.
Says, you know what? You can have that
Aqua.
that high ground advantage. That's fine. No big deal. But here we go. Aqua takes down FaZe K and now is on the hunt. He sees Preston. He sees Landon. And now he's on the run. Just going to go and make sure all those health bones are up to date. And go on the run again. Is like we said, this is their victory lap. Second, third place, they're out unless we see a historic 400-point swing. This one looks to be somewhat done, and Aqua instantly spots out a 60, and he's doing his best impression of a Technoblade, instantly focused to the player that exists just in front of you, and then once they start to back away, it's time to enchant. It's time to enter and back toward middle. They've got apples. They've got everything. And A60 runs right into the grasp, right into the hands of Preston.
And A6D had the best gear. Getting eliminated by Preston now gives him the opportunity to kind of move up. You see Landon has the best gear too. And now it's going to be an old-fashioned 2v2 now. Aqua and Basti versus Preston and his teammate.
Oh, and they also, there's Betty.
Oh, my goodness.
There's Betty. We know it from Team Rome, and here we go. They're looking for the engagements. Actually, instantly as they try to walk through the door, they are peppered with arrows, so much so that Landon's like, okay, we got to back up. We are not confident with this fight, but these guys are unbelievable. There are 4 different ways to get in this building, and they are locking it down, no questions asked. Like we said, they do have that enchanted diamond axe, but we'll see if they can make anything happen with it. Like I said, they've got the gear, as you pointed out, Taylor. They got the drop. They also had a hand in doing a few different things, but can they at least break in?
It's got to be the question, and breaking in is going to be the only option they have. That zone's going to collapse down, and they're going to have to push through. But like you said, those arrows continue to pepper them. Aqua, Basti, they know the position they're in. They know exactly where the choke points are, and they're going to continue to capitalize on those very moments. Aqua maybe tempting to go out. He does notice where they're going to be rotating through, but immediately the arrow comes in. He's going to get tagged up, loses a heart, but he's going to be all right for the time being. And you got to be imagining, are they just going to go ahead and push in? Will they push out to engage? But all's well that ends well, at least for the time being. Maybe going for the supply drop. Maybe feeling like they needed a little bit more.
Maybe something. I mean, at some point, do you think they split? How do they find a way in here? Because, again, they can see the name tags. If they just continue to trade arrows, imagine they're not going to make a ton of progress. So just trying to find an opportunity to get in there. You see Preston does have 2 Ender Pearls, maybe thinking about a strategy or something that goes there. Techno, of course, in the chat saying, go, go, go. That's what I did. Did not end well for me, but that is what I did. And
waiting for a drop, it looks like.
Yeah. Let's see what it is.
Landon's like, hey, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Was it a diamond enchanted sword? It could have been. It also could have just been weed. Who knows? Don't worry about it, Preston.
Don't worry about it.
Keep your eyes on your own paper.
Oh, they're going in for the attack. Preston's going to be the first one to deal some blood. Basti getting very low in health. Landed onto Basti. They both split off. Ender Pearl to get away. And now it's going to be Landon. He's going to be sandwiched in between. He goes down. Now it's up to Preston. What is he going to be able to do in this situation? He's now in a 1v2. We knew he was weak. Now sandwiched once again. Good Ender Pearl.
Okay. Taps the head as well.
But Preston, though, very weak, and he finally goes down. And if there is any question in your mind, it has now been removed. Basti and Aqua specifically in this last Hunger Games. What a phenomenal round on his perspective. He continued to slay out. He took some of the best duos down. And they started off slow. As I know Nine was pointing out, we were thinking maybe they were just going for survival points. No, sir. Towards the end of it, they started to show their absolute dominance and fearlessness, and they slayed just about half the lobby. They were already in first by 285 points, and there is no question now in anybody's mind that they're not going to be in first place. We have a new champion this week.
And so dominantly they went through it. And again, every game we kept talking about some of these other players that were making the big plays, but both Basti and Aqua showed up every single game. They contributed each time, and even though they didn't win that initial Hunger Games, watching this last one, you'd ask, who beat this?
Yeah.
Who could beat them?
Like we said, when it came down to adding Aqua for this week, we were thinking, okay, could be a solid roster, could be a wild card. How wild is this? They take this week, as Taylor called it, new champions in a very dominant way. They didn't win every single game, as we saw last week, but they were consistent in every single one, as they will be your champions. 1,700 overall score. XQC and Moxie, a very far distance away, just below them. Technoblade and Connor Eats Pants rounding it out with a third-place finish. While we do give compliments right to Basti and Aqua for becoming first-time ever champions for them here in Week 11, XQC and Moxie, their highest placement to date, finishing off as runners-up. You got to give them some props as they've risen from fourth, they've risen from third, and now they are considered to be consistently a top 3, if not top 2 team in all of Minecraft Monday.
Something I was excited to see, the individual scoreline. I wanted to see where Aqua rated alongside that of Basti. Let's pull that up and see where we are. And I want to say Aqua probably was one of the best. And yes, in fact, he was by a dominant. That's Technoblade's numbers. In fact, he beat Technoblade with 960 points, beating him by nearly 100. That is probably one of the most dominant individual scores we have seen to date. And Basti, we've seen him week after week, but the fact is, he was close in second at 740, but Aqua, first time coming through, first place at the World Cup in duos, and now first place in Week 11, Minecraft Monday.
I'm going to point out really quick, very quickly, since we have recorded single-player stats, we have been noticing numbers, and this is just specifically directed toward mini-games, of which Hunger Games is included in Game 1 and Game 9. No one has ever beat Technoblade in terms of overall points, except for now. We saw Needle do it when it came down to strictly Hunger Games.
Sure.
But when it comes down to mini-games alone, which is the more consistent game mode of everything, right, that we've been doing for the last few weeks and overall, it has happened. Someone has overtaken Technoblade in overall points, and it happens to be Aqua at his first ever Minecraft Monday tournament. That's unbelievable.
I wouldn't say the Blood God has fallen just yet.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But more
He's got some competition, though.
But imagine if Aqua was here from the very start of Minecraft Monday. How well will he have been, right? So Aqua clearly has proven himself in multiple titles, and I got to say he proved himself this week. Very impressed overall, and any roster he's going to be on from this point forward, if he decides to play again, is definitely going to be my dark horse for that event.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Taylor's definition of a dark horse, a.k.a. the front runner, would be a very accurate statement. But from what you saw, Nine, like I know we were kind of having this conversation. You were calling out how it was remarkable. Their first ever tournament, they get it done. And like we said, by no means were they winning every single game mode, but as you called it, they were consistent in everything.
They were. They had to have finished top 5 or 6 in each time. You saw right there. For those of you who keep score, last week, Techno finished with 1,080 points. I didn't think we were going to see anybody sniff 4 digits, and already Aqua is pushing that as well in the first time going through here. So, again, we said maybe they'd be a disruptor, maybe something along those lines. Like you said, the biggest disruption, the biggest wild card imaginable, and I really hope Aqua comes back. Because then usually when a team wins, we shuffle it around. We really get to see, all right, how good are you when you're not with Basti? How good are you when you're not with this teammate? And that's what I really want to see. If there truly is someone who can rival Techno, and I think that's going to be my big story going forward.
Yeah, I think so too, right? Like I said, we kind of like to dabble teams up a little bit, kind of force them onto different rosters and kind of become captain of those teams. We have a number of different talented players, and I can only imagine if we were to have this exact same lineup, these teams or maybe players kind of woven. Then we throw Team Rome in there next week and just like, okay, now what happens here? There are just so many storylines brewing, no pun intended, when it comes to the Minecraft Monday. I literally cannot wait. I wish that it would just already be here tomorrow or maybe in the next few hours, but that's not possible. But my word, man, storylines aplenty. I mean, just thinking about next week has already got me giddy.
Oh, absolutely right. Marome last week, second place, now on vacation. They come back. You can imagine top 3.
They're going to check their phones and say, what
what
just happened?
Like Aqua and Basti, what happened? And congrats, by the way, straight up to Basti. 4th place last week with Papa Platt, now 1st place. That's a huge improvement to say the least. And now you got to be thinking now, Papa Platt, is he going to come back? Is he going to compete with Basti? Because now Basti's like, Papa Platt, it was really good playing with you. But Aqua,
I like the taste of gold better.
Aqua might be my duo moving forward. So some things could be shifting up.
Yeah, all jokes aside, obviously, but still, I gotta imagine it'd be kind of difficult if you got the opportunity, which who knows if they will, but it'd be kind of difficult to say, nah, Aqua, no, not really interested. I would love to see, in a perfect world, having 2 duos, right, who just won in prior weeks, seeing Philza and Technoblade along with Aqua and Basti.
Oh, my goodness.
That would be amazing if we got to watch those 2 duos facing off against each other. Who knows? Maybe we'll have like an all-star weekend of some sort in the future and see the best teams that have ever been combined together battle it out. Like we talk about Vicstar and Preston together.
That combo, yeah.
But then you have to decide who does Technoblade play with. He's got 4 of them.
That's true.
So
he can just pick whoever he wants. One of the 4
different people. So it's like, who gets the opportunity?
Maybe with Philza. We'll put him with Philza.
Okay, if it's with Philza, that's it's done deal. Because last week, 1,892 points. That was the highest placing we've ever seen.
That would be a lot. But I do have one thing that I want to say to XQC and Moxie. Please continue. I loved seeing the development every single week. This week, the best overall, making parkour look easy. Yeah. Making something that, again, last week nobody finished. I know the course is a little different, but I think they are the most exciting team to watch week after week. Their improvement. So I want to see. I want a victory for you guys. I really do. But it's so difficult when all these just hidden legends keep coming out straight from Fortnite to Minecraft to win that one too.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? We talked about a number of different amazing moments. I still will say it over and over again. Skywars for me is the best game alongside Hunger Games that we have in all of Minecraft Monday. It led for some amazing moments. But before we close out week number 11, you guys have any closing thoughts? I know Nine was obviously giving a few comments to XQC and Moxie, and very well deserved, right? Their first ever second place finish. But any closing thoughts for what has been probably one of the best weeks we have ever seen?
Honestly, yeah, I think we say that every week.
Well,
honestly, whenever
it actually is true this week. If there ever was one.
I think it was a great week, right? Week 11, bringing it back with another Minecraft Monday. Replica was a great game. Hopefully next week we'll be able to see all 12 rounds played because I know the images were starting to get a lot more difficult. But overall, it continues to get better and better, and I know the graphics even get better and better. Shout out to the production team and the graphics guys. You guys are always killing the game. But regardless, another great week, and I can't wait to bring it back next week.
This week, great. Next week, we talk about it. The storylines always evolve. And as you continue to see the lore that grows, we, of course, had that new graphic. Again, shout-outs and thank you to production. Showing you the past winners. There's going to be a new banner up with new faces here. And again, every single time that we come here, we always say, this team's the favorite, this team's the wild card. But today should show you we have no idea what's going on. All we know is that when you get this many talented people together, there are sure to be fireworks, and I hope that you will join us next week when we see even more.
Yeah, absolutely right. The storylines only get more intense, and week by week, we just continue to call the action. Still at a marvel for how some of the talented young players start to rise, how some of the storylines continue to develop. So, of course, we want to give a massive thank you to all the players for competing, more specifically Basti and Aqua for becoming Week 11 champions, as called, right? Their first ever time winning Minecraft Monday and Aqua's first ever tournament. Who knows what could be in store for the following weeks, but that just means more exciting stuff for us here, the casters, and obviously for you guys, the audience. And speaking of you guys, we also want to give a massive shout out to you. Thank you for being involved with Minecraft Monday. Thank you for tuning in each and every week, supporting the content creators, supporting all of the streamers who play in this fantastic tournament every every single Monday. But hey, for the entire production team, for the entire UMG studio, this is Landon Lano Sanders alongside Taylor Reflections Noble and 9 Whole Grain signing out for the final time, saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.